Hi, welcome back guys. This is your friend, the fanfiction guy. Back with another fanfiction. This is the first part of What If Deku Played Ultimate Villain? Now before starting, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel if you want more videos like this. Now let's get into the fanfic. Izuku POV. We were all gathered together, and I sensed that something significant was about to unfold. To be precise, I felt a wave of unease wash over me when I noticed the drones capturing our every move. Class 1A, 1B, the support course, and the general studies course were all present. What was going on? My worry deepened. Nezu stood before us, addressing the crowd. I want to keep the Civil War game going, but this year, it will be filmed live for viewers around the world. Therefore, I ask that we only speak English during the game. I will explain a few rules, but the rule book contains the basics. Recovery Girl interjected, her voice filled with disbelief. How could you do this without informing us? Nizu continued, undeterred. The first rule is simple: no killing or causing serious injury. I don't want any students ending up with prosthetics after this game. A buzz of conversation erupted among us. I felt a surge of determination. I would definitely be a hero. Nizu would never let me play the role of a villain. They didn't know me well enough to understand the depths of my knowledge or the strategies I could employ. But the thought of it was thrilling. Nizu explained further, the basics and other rules are in the book, but I want to focus on something unique. Students will have the opportunity to vote on other schools if they suspect someone is a villain. All students, along with a few heroes, will be taken to a small, simulated town where a hero station will serve as our base until the end of the game. 2 of you will play the role of villains, tasked with eliminating the rest. If you suspect someone, you can call a meeting to present your evidence. The accused will have a chance to defend themselves before a vote is taken. Excitement coursed through me. With enough clever manipulation, I could sway the votes in my favor. Nizu added, if the majority votes against someone, it doesn't mean they're immediately out. The heroes will have the right to eliminate them without jeopardizing themselves. Everyone will wear a bracelet, and if someone presses the button on it, they will be instantly immobilized and removed from the game. It's as if they've been eliminated. Players can choose to withdraw voluntarily. If someone passes out, they are out of the game, and another player or the villain must press the button on their wrist. The person is completely out once their role card is scanned. He gestured toward a large scanner. If someone has pressed the button, they are only paralyzed and not out. They cannot be freed from paralysis without scanning their card. These are the main rules, and there are more detailed ones in the book I prepared. This was shaping up to be an exhilarating challenge. I could accomplish so much if I were the villain. However, I suspected Nizu would choose someone like Aizawa or Shinso for that role. They were excellent actors, and if All Might were involved, it would create quite a spectacle. Nizu began distributing cards. A few moments later, Nizu POV. How could this happen? I had meticulously planned everything, yet I made a mistake. I thought it would be a valuable training experience for the students to engage in a hero versus villain scenario. After careful consideration, I selected 2 perfect candidates, but in a moment of oversight, I swapped one role with another. Shinso is not a villain in this game, he is a hero. I believed Aizawa and Shinso would make a great team. Now, I can't reveal my mistake, especially since the game is already being live-streamed. Drones are capturing every moment at UA, and I have no idea who the second villain is. Aizawa won't know either. I can't admit to anyone that I made an error, so I must discover who the villain is just like everyone else by observing. After all my preparations, including writing an extensive rule book in just 3 days, I can't believe I made such an error. It could jeopardize the entire event, and I had hoped to use the proceeds to enhance UA's technology and expand our already impressive facilities. If the villain were someone like Bakugo, Ida, or Midoriya, things could get chaotic. Bakugo would be among the first suspects due to his fiery personality, while Ida and Midoriya would likely turn themselves in. There are also several students who are not great actors. Shinso and Aizawa, however, both have excellent poker faces. Perhaps I could create 3 villains, but I've already recited most of the rules. Chapter End. Izuku POV. I stared at my card, utterly shocked. How could this be? I am the villain. This is incredible. I scanned the surroundings, trying to identify who the second villain might be. Aizawa seemed more contemplative than usual today. I had a feeling the other villain would be a hero, perhaps even a student. I heard that Endeavor, Hawks, and a few others would be present. The possibilities as a villain were endless. If Endeavor was involved, it would be even more thrilling. I could manipulate Todoroki into believing his father was the villain, leading to a dramatic confrontation. The voting aspect could work to my advantage. Although I didn't know the other students well, I had always greeted them warmly, complimented their quirks, and engaged in conversations about their abilities. I had built enough rapport to avoid being voted out and to stay in the game for a long time. This was going to be so much fun. I could hardly wait. But why was it me? Did Nezu make a mistake? How could he? He's Nezu. He wants it to be entertaining, so why would he choose me? Something went wrong, but what? Ochako, what do you have, Deku? Of course, I'm a hero. What about you? I'm a hero too. Ochako replied enthusiastically. Ida chimed in. That means we can be a team because we're all heroes. Yes, I'm a hero too, Todoroki added. We'll make a great team, Ribbit. Tsuyu said with a smile. Why do you sound disappointed about being a hero? I asked. I wanted to confront my father, Todoroki admitted. Killing is very non-heroic, Ida interjected. You don't have to worry, Deku. We'll all be on a team, so nothing can happen to you. We will protect you, Ochako reassured me. I'm relieved, I replied, though a part of me felt uneasy. I was quirkless and I couldn't shake the feeling that danger loomed. It's the hero's job to protect the weaker ones, Ida stated confidently. Who is the weaker one here? I thought. Information is strength. Nizu would probably have chosen Bakugo or Shinso instead of me, but I worried Bakugo would cause chaos if he became a villain. I needed to find out who the villain was before anyone else, and I suspected it might be Aizawa-sensei. I had to stay away from the second villain. I didn't want to end up in harm's way, but I still wanted to work alone. I needed to catch the villain and throw him out. But I had to win to do that. It would be foolish to lose and let everyone see that I failed because I turned against my own teammate. I decided to ask Aizawa-sensei. Aizawa-sensei, what role do you play in this? Aizawa sighed. It's not a game, it's a training exercise. You shouldn't be so excited. Last time he did this, it ended badly. What happened? I asked, curious. Endeavor set UA on fire, he replied, and I recalled doing some research on that incident. It ended with fire, Aizawa confirmed. That just means the exercise will be more entertaining, I said with a grin. You need a therapist, and after you said that, I think I need one too. Never act like Nizu again. This is a training exercise, Aizawa said, shaking his head. Aizawa-sensei, I see the world as a game. Why can't I view this as one where we have to play our roles? Disturbing, he replied. If I didn't see it like a game, I'd probably be in a dark place by now, I admitted. Aizawa sighed again. What role do you have now? Do you think I would tell you if I'm the villain? He asked. You're right, I conceded. Don't be so grumpy. What are you, little listener? Present Mike asked cheerfully. A hero, I said, smiling proudly. Great, I am too, Present Mike replied. There are 4 whole classes and a bunch of heroes participating in this exercise. Do you really think you, of all people, could be a villain? Aizawa questioned. Words hurt, Present Mike added playfully. There are so many students. How could the 2 villains find each other? I wondered aloud. I don't know, Present Mike admitted. Aizawa mused. Why are you thinking so tensely? You're not the villain, and you have to find your comrade, I said, noticing a fleeting expression of concern on his face before he regained his composure. I'm just thinking about how we as heroes could prevent it, Aizawa replied. It was just a joke. I didn't mean it in a mean way, I laughed. You should consider becoming a comedian. Your jokes almost made me laugh. Not, Aizawa said dryly. Tomorrow it starts seriously, tomorrow. I didn't have enough time. Drones were flying everywhere. Some found them casual, some a nuisance, and others enjoyed posing for them, but I saw them differently. I viewed them as little bombs hovering around us, waiting to do their job. Oh, I could hardly wait. If I could just get my hands on one of those drones without being filmed, I could manipulate it and turn it into a flying bomb, and nobody would know who the culprit was. I knew many heroes would be there: Endeavor, Hawks, and All Might, among others. Nizu probably forced them all to participate, but that wouldn't be a problem, it would just make everything more fun. I could use fake blood, but I wasn't sure if I could bring that or where to get it. Real blood would work just as well though. I already knew who I wanted to eliminate first: All Might. I had the perfect plan in mind. Just wait and see. Some people wanted me to train with them, while others said not even training could help me. I had a different opinion. I believed all the training in the world could prepare me for what I was about to do. The first thing I did, unlike everyone else, was read the rulebook. It was incredibly thick and filled with numerous rules and tips. For example, there was a rule that if you faint, you're out of the game. However, someone who was nearly unconscious could lie down somewhere and say they were taking a nap, avoiding elimination. Aizawa-sensei would have his hands full. A drone hovered in front of my face, and I wondered why they were so close, as if trying to study my expressions. Did Nizu not know who the killer was either? I had to bite my lip to keep from reacting to the camera. All Might and Bakugo were the ones I wanted to eliminate the most. If I managed that, I would have already won for myself. If I played my cards right, I might win without fighting, relying solely on manipulation, but that would be a bit boring. Where was the excitement in that? I still needed a bit of thrill. I planned to draw on the walls with my own blood. Suddenly, I heard an announcement loud and clear. Midoriya, it's your time to pick an item of your choice that you want to bring. I headed to the teacher's office. When I arrived, I noticed some teachers were missing from the staff room. They would likely participate in the exercise as well. Hound Dog, Ectoplasm, Recovery Girl, and Nezu were present. The rest are most likely involved in the game and shouldn't here, so I don't pick a weapon either. Nezu, so what's your choice? Me, my choice is the rulebook. Everyone looks at me like I'm totally crazy. I don't have a quirk and I need a weapon, but I choose a book. Nezu, and why, if you don't mind me asking? Me, you can ask, but that doesn't mean I'm going to answer. If I'm going to answer, I might as well ask a question. He thinks for a moment. Nezu, let me hear your question first. If I want to answer yours, then you can answer mine too. So he plays it safe. Me, how did you manage to convince a bunch of parents to let their kids participate in a game that resembles a war? Nezu, I achieved my goal, I got everything I wanted. Recovery Girl, please say it wasn't blackmail. Nezu, it was blackmail. Recovery Girl, sigh. Hound Dog, so you researched about 80 people to blackmail them? Nezu, not exactly. I wasn't able to reach your mother at first. After I reached her, she immediately agreed, and I didn't have to do anything. Me, Inko is often busy and doesn't have much time. Hound Dog, did you just call your own mother by her real name? Me, it would be silly to call her by her family name since I have it too. Nezu, a topic we want to discuss later. So, why did you choose the book? Me, there are rules in the book that would be very useful, and you would unintentionally bump into them. It's impossible to memorize almost all the rules, so I think it's better to carry the book with me. And the book is thicker than a Bible. So if someone were to attack, I could use it to defend myself. Most people say words don't hurt, but with a book as heavy as a brick, they might change their minds. Nizu POV. Recovery Girl, Nizu, how could you do that? This will end in chaos. I'm sitting with Hound Dog, Ectoplasm, and Recovery Girl watching the drone footage. I thought it would be a good idea to put a hero and a student in the same room for a short while. The room had the dimensions of an elevator, and several students were often with a hero. But the problem with this plan was that I also had to put Endeavor in a room with a child for about an hour, after which the doors open and the game begins. Recovery Girl, how could you put Midoriya in a room with Endeavor? That kid is a ray of sunshine, and he's just a hot-headed idiot. Me, I'd like to see if Midoriya would still smile. Hound Dog, what did he do to you to make you do that to him? Me, oh, he just piqued my interest. Didn't you ever notice that he shows no emotion other than a smile? I want to know if it's excellent self-control or if the boy can't help it. We all look at the screen. I guess I've piqued their interest. Endeavor. Midoriya. Endeavor, so you're my son's friend. Midoriya, so you're the father of my friend. Endeavor, you look like seaweed. A face only a mother could love. Midoriya, look in the mirror. At least my mother likes my face. Even your mom couldn't love you with this face. No wonder your son didn't want to use his fire side to avoid being compared to you. Endeavor, he used it against you. Endeavor looks proud. Midoriya, how is it that you've been trying to convince him to use his fire side for years, and I managed to convince him in just a few minutes? What do you want from him? Whatever you expect from your son, you failed terribly. Endeavor, I want him to be a hero like me. Midoriya, so you want him to be like you? Like the person he hates and loathes, just waiting to be 18 to be as far away from you as possible? And you want him to be like you? Endeavor, I want him to be better. Midoriya, so like All Might? Endeavor, no. Midoriya, you said better. You are number 2, you want him to be better, so like number 1. Recovery girl, unexpectedly. Midoriya, now I understand why Todoroki admires and idolizes All Might so much and sees him as a role model. Endeavor, I have to say my son's taste is terrible. Midoriya, it seems to be in the genes, which is probably why you had a forced marriage. Me, this conversation is getting more and more exciting. It looks like Midoriya is relatively well informed. Endeavor, you're foolish if you think you can just get involved with me like that. Midoriya, me, the foolish one? My mom always says that what's inside counts. But it seems to me that there was never a single brain cell in your skull. And if there was one, it was probably burned. Me, looks like he's playing with fire. It's very strange to see such a transformation in Midoriya's behavior. Endeavor, I'm not going to put up with this. Midoriya, probably your last brain cell was burned just like your son. Recovery girl, oh my goodness. Nizu, open these doors before Endeavor tries to harm the kid. Endeavor, I am going to. Midoriya, to what? Please say it out loud to the camera so the whole world can hear. Me, ha. Recovery girl, clever to use the drones as a threat. Midoriya, please say it out loud to the camera as you threaten to harm a child. If that's how you treat children, how are you with your own? Me, oh, this is going to be more exciting than I thought. Did you notice that Midoriya was smiling the whole time? Somehow I think it would be interesting with him as a villain. Recovery girl, who is the second villain actually? Mia, that. I have to admit I have no idea. Hound dog, how do you have no idea? Me, there was a little accident where I switched the cards. Recovery girl, so you made a mistake. Me, no, it was an accident. Recovery girl, I'm sure it was your mistake. Midoriya, we all look to the screen to see Endeavor trying to attack Midoriya. Recovery girl, get him out of there. Me, I will. I press a button, and all the rooms pop open. Me, maybe that wasn't my best idea. Recovery girl, maybe. Dabi POV. I see my dad getting roasted by a kid on TV, and my dad takes it seriously and retaliates. When the kid said Endeavor's brain cells were burned, I literally wanted to hug him. This TV show is going to be interesting. Chapter end. Eraserhead POV. I remember we should have been in our rooms a lot longer than we were, but I'm not really complaining. I'm glad to be away from the children. Still, I'm surprised that something not going according to plan turned out to be even worse than what the last one had in mind. I can see that everyone else is surprised too. Hawks, who was actually with Endeavor? That explains a lot. Did he cause problems or something? I wouldn't be surprised if he startled the students, leading to them being let out early for their safety. I don't want to know who the unfortunate ones were that had to be locked up with him. Midoriya, wah. Oh no. Please don't tell me he put the UA Sunshine, the happiest student I've ever seen and a fan of heroes, with Endeavor. Midoriya is the most well-behaved, calm, and perfectly nice student I've ever had. Nizu must have gone completely mad. What am I actually wondering? Already know, but still. I would have expected something better. I see one of Hitoshi's classmates extinguishing the flames on the poor kid who was caught in them. Midoriya, Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Me, how's your arm? Midoriya, as burnt as Endeavor's son. Todoroki, hey. Midoriya, I mean the one who, not you. Todoroki, cough, cough, cough. Hawks, what did you do to make him that mad? Not even I can manage that. Hawks really looked like he wanted to take notes. Midoriya, I told him if he ever had a brain cell, it's burned like his son. Hawks, I don't know whether to laugh or be in shock. Forget everything I said about him being the perfect student. That never happened. Zashi, no wonder he went off on you. Todoroki inspected all the students very closely. Somehow, I'm worried about what theories he might come up with. We're live on TV here. I wouldn't want to hear theories about love children right now. He looks particularly closely at Uraraka and a brown-haired girl from Class 1B with hair over her face. Oh dear, this is going to be bad. He's also eyeing Edgeshot and Ryukyu. If he starts with his theories, I don't want to be the one to keep him in check. It might be a good idea to eliminate him first. It would be best to eliminate all the teachers and then all the heroes, right? Then I'd be in a group of kids, not just my 20 that I can't stand, but all might. I think today will be more of an organization day. Me, the villain, will definitely not show up on the first day. Midoriya, what if a real villain strikes during the TV show? The top 3 heroes are here, and other very important heroes too. It's not exactly a secret to the villain since the show is being hosted. Isn't Mizudafu in danger? Hawks, Sheet. Students. Me, oh holy crap. All Might, that's a very smart question, young Midoriya. Night Eye, I don't know if the other heroes will be enough. Nezu from a speaker, that's a very good line of thought, and I'm glad someone finally noticed. The answer is that I called heroes from other countries. A few European ones have come here to stand by you in case anyone tries to do anything. Students, maybe we should split up. Midnight, everyone finds a dormitory first. Midoriya goes over to the boy who saved him and gives him a hug. The boy looks very unhappy with this, but somehow Midoriya seems unfazed. Midoriya, thanks again for helping with the fire. I'm Midoriya. Student, Ms. Wiro. Nice to meet you. Midoriya lets go of his hug and goes back to his class. Hawks, don't you need medical treatment or something? Midoriya, I'll just bandage my arm, and it'll be fine. Hawks, okay? Midoriya walks away. Everyone has gathered in small groups. We're just outside a building where we'll probably be housed. We were really in boxes at the beginning that looked like elevators from the inside. How I got in there, I don't know. The last thing I remember was grading papers and then being in a sitting position in this elevator. I wasn't in a group, I wanted to sleep. Midoriya had already gone in, and I was thinking about going in too. Maybe then I could catch Midoriya off guard. I mean, when I think the game has just started. But then he could get medical treatment from Recovery Girl. But before I can do that, I hear a loud boom, like an explosion. I turn around quickly, nearly breaking my neck. Several students are lying on the floor. What has happened? That was fast. I smell smoke. Students, an explosion just started from Ms. Wiro. It hit several people. I check the pulse of all those on the ground, and fortunately, they're all still alive. Only out of the game. Looks like the student who plays the villain is very good at it. That probably means the game will end faster. Chapter End. Izuku POV. When nobody was looking, I took a drone with a camera from behind and closed it to avoid being filmed unintentionally. I worked on it a bit. After distracting everyone with my hand on fire, I hugged the guy who saved me and took out a bunch of players in the process by letting the drone explode. I think everyone was pretty surprised to see it happen so quickly, and I didn't want to stop at those sacrifices. I'll eliminate Shinso and Mei's class first, then Class B and then my class, mixing it up a bit, and of course, the heroes. All the cameras were outside, so when I went in, I had a clear path. The first thing I did was look at everything. Then I examined the mechanism of the doors. I quickly realized that there were vents in the building. However, they were locked from the inside. But that was nothing I couldn't handle. I found a few things in the bathroom that I could use. There was a plate of snacks in each room, and each sleeping area had 6 beds. I went to the bathroom, got some sleeping pills, and put them in room number 11 with the snacks. Then I went to the kitchen and grabbed a big kitchen knife that I would keep ready. Next, I also got some bathroom products. Lastly, I went to the kitchen and got a big bag of flour. I would have to act very quickly. I climbed through the dusty vent and stored all my supplies there. The bathroom items, the flour, the knife, and the sleeping pills. It's best to keep the sleeping pills hidden so they wouldn't even suspect they were there. Sleeping pills would draw attention, and people would wonder who was the first to enter. Afterward, I wrapped a bandage around my injured hand. Everyone gathered inside, and I spoke with Ida and Sue. Ida said, "You should have seen how fast the villain acted. We barely had a chance." "That's frightening," I replied. "I hope we can find him quickly because it's starting to scare me. I thought we had a few days, but it could be any of us at risk." Hawks joined our conversation. "Don't worry, kiddo. We are literally among the top 5 heroes here, along with a bunch of others. And remember, it's just a game." "Oh right, I forgot how real it feels," I admitted, intentionally wrapping my bandages poorly. "Oh, my bandage is coming undone. I need to head to the bathroom to fix it," I said. "I can help you. I know a bit about bandaging burns," Hawks offered. "It's okay, I don't want to bother you. I'll take my time and learn how to do it myself for future situations," I replied. "That's the right attitude," Ida encouraged. In truth, my real attitude was to eliminate everyone as swiftly and efficiently as possible. I entered the bathroom, locked the door, climbed onto the sink, and opened the vent, leaving my shoes behind to avoid leaving footprints. I waited quietly with my supplies. In the vent, I noticed a few people already gathered in room 11, some sitting and others asleep. They were arguing about sleeping arrangements. If I locked the door, someone might see me. One by one, they settled down and fell asleep, leaving only 2 still bickering. I could tell they were tired but reluctant to show it. Suddenly, one of them fainted before the other could react. I grabbed a sack of flour and threw it from the vent at the remaining person. The flour was meant to act like a smoke bomb, but I had repurposed it as a distraction. Flour filled the air, obscuring visibility. I had memorized the camera's position, so I jumped from the vent and kicked it down before locking the door. As the flour settled, I could see again. I quickly stole some shoes to hide my footprints. While the others lay on the floor, I struck each of them on the neck with enough force to ensure they were unconscious. Then I took out my knife and made precise cuts on their wrists. I watched as the crimson liquid flowed out, a thrill coursing through me. With bloodied hands, I approached the wall and began to write. "Oh dear, it looks like the game is over and the fun has begun. Do you want to be my next victim?" I added a cheerful smiley face beneath my message. After admiring my work, I climbed back through the vent, leaving no trace of my shoe size or prints. In the bathroom, I used toilet paper to wipe away the flour and blood, masking the scent with lavender spray before flushing the evidence away. I took care to cover my tracks. Izuku's POV. I entered a room and found a black pen. I needed some tape, so I went to the bathroom and drew a bug on it. With the tape hidden in my hand, I made my way to the kitchen, casually searching through the plates before placing the tape down and taking one. Aizawa-sensei noticed. "Why do you need a plate? It's not dinner time yet." I had to think quickly. There are no mirrors, and Aoyama asked me to get him a plate to use as a mirror. "Why not just use the bathroom mirror?" Aizawa-sensei replied. "Would you want him in there for hours, staring at himself while everyone else waits?" I countered. "Just give him the plate," he said, dismissing me. I had to eliminate Aoyama without raising suspicion. Didn't he have a severe allergy to flour? I checked the kitchen and found more flour. In a discreet moment, I mixed some into the salt shaker. After preparing everything, I chatted with the others as if nothing was amiss. I watched Aizawa-sensei, who was fascinated by the coffee machine with Shinso, behaving normally. Suddenly, a scream pierced the air. Someone must have discovered what happened to the 8 people. It was tragic, but it must have been intimidating to see so many already out of the game. Everyone rushed to the scene, hesitant to enter the room that looked truly frightening. Several people scrambled to the front, and upon seeing the aftermath, they screamed. Did someone really just faint? Seriously? I had nothing to do with this incident. Aizawa-sensei looked completely bewildered. He hadn't even had time for his first elimination, while I had already taken care of 15 people on my own, which was oddly enjoyable. Before anyone could enter, I shouted, "Wait! There's flour all over the floor, and you can see footprints. Nobody should enter the room. There must be traces," Sir Night-Eye commanded. "Hawks can fly around. He won't step on the floor, and he can carry someone in with his feathers," I suggested. "That's a good idea, my boy," All Might agreed. I winced at the "my boy" comment. I didn't want to be the next one found unconscious. "Don't we need to check the bracelets too?" I asked. "I can handle that," Hawks replied. Best Genus chimed in, "You all can go eat, it's evening and we'll take care of this." He probably wanted to prevent anyone else from fainting. One was enough for now. This would likely be the last meal some would have in the game. Bakugo was cooking, and many of us sat at the table in anticipation. "Oi, unless Deku gives me some plates," Kakin called out. It seemed my plate plan was off. I needed to get some plates, which meant I had to jump a bit. I had an idea. I would pretend to stretch and not reach, hoping someone would help instead. "I'll help you, little listener," Mike-sensei offered. "How many plates do you need?" "On the 9th plate is the bug." Present Mike is behind me, stretching to reach the plates. He shouldn't do it from behind, he might drop them. He had to replace me. "Oh no. 3, 2, 1. Present Mike, what?" He lets go of the plates, and they tumble down on both of us, more on Present Mike, but quite a few on me too. They shatter into pieces. The entire stack falls on Present Mike's head, and the shards scatter around us. Everyone stares at us. Mike-sensei stumbles backward, trying to steady himself on the table, but he accidentally bumps his head against it and collapses to the ground. He lies still. I kneel beside him, checking for a pulse and pressing on his wristband. A wave of dread washes over me. I hear a couple of pro-heroes who had stayed earlier to investigate the other incident. Their voices rise in alarm. "Hawks, holy cow! Ectoplasm, I'm here to collect the fallen. Aizawa-sensei, if this keeps happening, you might as well stay here." I see the concern in his eyes. "Me, at least he still has a pulse." "Hawks, what exactly happened?" "Ida, that's a good question. Why did he let go of the plates?" "Me, there was a bug." Aizawa-sensei sighs. "Midnight, that explains everything." "Me, but I think the bug was just painted on the plate." Aizawa-sensei sighs again. "Me, how was the search in the other room where the other incident happened?" "Hawks, not great. The culprit used someone else's shoes, and that person is now gone. Ectoplasm is gathering everyone up." "Ectoplasm, are you coming?" "What?" "I'm not unconscious and I haven't given up. I didn't press my bracelet." "Ectoplasm, so you want to continue despite your injuries?" "Me, yes." Everyone looks at me as if I've lost my mind. "Hawks, this time, I'll help you with your wounds. If you don't want to pass out, you should stop the bleeding quickly." While Hawks tends to my wounds, wrapping bandages and helping me remove the shards, I stitch up the cuts that need it. "Hawks, you're actually doing really well. I didn't expect you to be able to sew your own wounds without any pain relief and do it so skillfully." "Me, what can I say? I had a few bullies, so I learned to handle injuries. And since I could never afford pain relief, I'm used to it." "Hawks, I'm sorry. If I had found any pain relief, I would have." "Aoyama, your face is red." "Rima, I can't breathe anymore. Help." Looks like my plan worked. "Hawks, I'll check what happened. You stay here and I mean it." Chapter end. Izuku POV. "Me, what happened?" "Hawks, Aoyama is out of the game." "Me, how could something like that happen?" "Hawks, the villain used an allergy from someone." "Me, that's serious, he could really be in danger." "Hawks, he was taken quickly, and we can only hope for the best." "Me, this is awful, this doesn't feel like a game anymore." "It's not a game anymore." "Hawks, yes, but it's okay, there are pro-heroes everywhere." "Me, the game is hosted by Nizu." "Hawks, oh yes, that's very concerning. Maybe I should carry you so your stitches don't come undone." "Me, I'll be fine. I'll read for the rest of the day." And plan their downfall. There were riddles written in the book, and I suspect there's an armory. I'll sneak out at night. The book had 1,430 pages. From the clues, I calculate 1 plus 4 plus 3 plus 0, which is in room number 8 is a secret room. Or was it the room with 8 letters? It could be the bathroom. I go into the bathroom and search. It could possibly be a key. I head to the kitchen and take a magnet from the fridge, holding it to the side of objects. No success. I could put sleeping pills in the soap or better yet, the toothpaste. I climb into the vent where I left them and retrieve the sleeping pills. When I take some out, I see the key inside. Seriously? After I put the sleeping pills in the toothpaste and safely stow the key, I want to go back, but I realize my stitches have opened. When they see the blood, they'll think it was me. I've already lost enough blood. If I pass out, I'll be thrown out in a minute. I need an alibi. I can wipe this away, but Hound Dog will smell the blood. I have an idea. I go into the kitchen and look around. There's a red feather. I grab some chopsticks and poke the feather. Nothing happens. I stab the feather. Isn't Hawks very sensitive about his feathers? I'm sorry, Hawks. I take his feather with the chopsticks and make a small fire in the kitchen. I hold the feather close to the fire and give it a little poke. I immediately hear him coming. Hawks, feathers. But me, my stitches are torn, and I don't think I can stop the bleeding and stitch it at the same time without passing out. Mariko, what's going on here? Me, someone help, or do you want to watch me pass out and get thrown out of the game? Hawks, yes we do. Mariko, get the first aid kit to stop the bleeding. Go ahead and sit on the couch. Me, I won't be on the couch with blood everywhere then. Hawks, sighs then take a seat from the kitchen. Me, you sound like Aizawa-sensei. Hawks, I really admire his work. Sighs, how is he even still alive? Me, that's the magic behind it. Hawks, black magic, I knew it. I want to sit down, but I see the seat twice. There's a chance I'll catch the seat. But no, I just have to sit next to it and bang my head against the floor. I have to bite my lip to keep from swearing silently. Hawks helps me up immediately. I didn't realize I was biting my lips so hard that blood was running down my face. Hawks, that's how every sleeping person here has been woken up before. Great, right? Midnight, I was asleep. Why couldn't you stay still? Hound Dog, holy cow. Me, aren't you the therapist? The one who should most likely stay calm in situations? Hound Dog, how do you manage to stay calm in such a state? The blood is dripping off you. Me, I know. And I really need help so that I don't end up in danger too. We've lost enough already. Aizawa-sensei, why are you being so loud? I just had a long nap. Me, hello, Aizawa-sensei. Isn't a long nap just sleeping? Aizawa-sensei doesn't look up. Aizawa-sensei, don't be a smart aleck. Hawks, P.S. No cursing in front of the green bean. Aizawa-sensei, oh my. Are you all right? I'm fine, I replied. Everyone fell silent. Hawks raised an eyebrow. And who's going to believe that? Blood is running down your body, and your head just smashed against the ground. Can something break in the head to make a person spit blood? Everyone seemed to ponder that question, clearly unsure. Don't heroes have basic first aid knowledge? I asked. It is basic, but... Hawks began. Hound Dog interrupted. Why do I smell smoke? I didn't put out the fire after burning your feather, I admitted. We were trapped in the kitchen, which was currently ablaze. This was the story of how I accidentally set Kamui Woods on fire when he woke up and wanted to see what was happening. I really didn't expect the flames to spread so quickly. It was like burning real wood. The next day, we were all exhausted, including the UA staff. They had run out of toothpaste and replaced it, but only a few students had used it. Both heroes and students were incredibly tired. Does it smell like something burned? Sir Knight, I asked. Where's Kamui Woods, anyway? MT Lady inquired. He's the one who got burned, I replied. What? Fat Gum exclaimed. There were a couple of small accidents where a fire started and ended up burning Kamui Woods, Hawks explained. He really burned like wood, I added. Hawks chuckled. Mirko snorted. Aizawa-sensei sighed. That wasn't funny. So he's out of the game? Milady asked. Yep. Fortunately, no more harm done, I said. You mean you didn't get hurt because you hit your head against the ground and all your stitches came undone, Hawks pointed out, capturing everyone's attention. I didn't get hurt that badly. Unlike him, I'm still in the game, I replied. Who was involved in that night's events? Milady asked. Me, Mirko him. Hawks gestured toward me. Midnight Sensei added, I was there too, along with Shota. Aizawa Sensei sighed again. Me too. Not a pretty sight, I must say, Hound Dog chimed in. Technically, Kamui Woods was there too, I mentioned. What do you have against him? Gran Torino asked. Nothing. What's behind that door actually? I said, noticing everyone looking at the door. I hadn't even noticed it was in the kitchen. Probably a storage room with food or something, Todoroki suggested. I approached the door and opened it slowly and cautiously. Open it faster, it's exciting. I want to see what's in there, Hawks urged. The killer in this game is a psychopath, and the game is hosted by Nezu. I'm going in with caution, I replied. When I opened the door, I quickly realized it wasn't a torture chamber or anything sinister. There were stairs leading down into what appeared to be a recreation room filled with games, a TV, and more. The air is clear, I announced. They peered inside. It doesn't look that bad actually, one student said. As the student went down the stairs, I playfully kicked him on the foot when no one was looking. He let out a yelp and rolled down the stairs. Oh, what fun! Everyone watched as he tumbled down, finally landing at the bottom and lying still. Is he dead? I asked. Everyone stared in shock. Someone rushed over to check his pulse, panting heavily. He is. The student fainted. What the Hawk started, but Aizawa-sensei shot him a glare. Don't you dare, Aizawa warned. Suddenly, I heard other students collapsing behind us. Was it the toothpaste or my outburst? Probably the toothpaste. The moment was amusing. How can that happen? I wondered aloud. Aizawa watched in disbelief, likely shocked by how many had already fallen. What is that? Shinso asked. Aha! The other students exclaimed. Ectoplasm would have a lot of work to do. How? I asked, bewildered. You're not the only one trying to figure that out. Even with all the cameras, we still can't see who the killer is. Based on Aizawa's reaction, he has no idea either, Nizu replied. How can someone commit so many acts without being caught by a bunch of cameras, students, and pro-heroes? Recovery Girl wondered. The only room without a camera is the bathroom, Nizu noted. And it's going to stay that way. No cameras there, Lunch Rush added. I wouldn't go there. If I were you, Nizu warned. Half the day passed as I played card games with a few others. Everyone seemed pretty casual despite the chaos that had unfolded. What could they do about it? The details of how they were taken down were unclear, and only a few traces led to nothing. Can we actually go outside? I asked. There's nothing in the rulebook saying we can't leave the house. This hero agency is surrounded by a beautiful forest. I'd like to know if there's anything else out there. Nizu shouldn't have made a rule if it wasn't allowed. Wait a second, you've read the rulebook? Hawks asked, surprised. Didn't you? I replied. The rulebook is bigger than a Bible. It probably weighs as much as a 10-year-old. I can't concentrate on it for long, let alone remember it, Mirko said. You know that reading the book is nothing compared to writing it. Nizu had to write the whole thing. At least you can read it, I pointed out. But he is different, Hawks said. I wouldn't be surprised if he laughed while writing it and had fun, Sir Knight I added. Has anyone actually read the book? I asked. Everyone fell silent. There are very important rules. For example, sleeping and fainting are very similar. If I were seriously injured, I could just lie down and pretend to sleep, but in reality, I'd be fainting. That's why sleeping during the day is forbidden, and only allowed from 8 p.m. If someone falls asleep or faints, they won't be disqualified, I explained, glancing at Aizawa. I need more than just a bucket of coffee to survive this day without losing my mind, Aizawa-sensei replied. I brought the rule book with me as my item, I said proudly. It's very heroic to want to stick to the rules so well, Ida commented. But you were able to bring so much that you would need, Hawks teased. I think I need the rule book the most, I concluded. Didn't you take KFC with you? Hawks replied, "It's something I need." I raised an eyebrow. "Isn't that cannibalism?" "No," he said, "I'm a hawk who eats other birds." "Tokoyami, run!" I shouted. I watched as Tokoyami dashed away. Some people laughed, while others looked worried or indifferent. Kaken scoffed. "I knew you were a nerd. But carrying a whole rule book with you? Don't define nerd as someone who strives for success and tries to reach it. You go to sleep at 8 a.m. and study hard for good grades. Wouldn't that make you a nerd too?" Kaken glared at me. "Useless Deku, I will take you down." It was a great day, with more heroes trying to keep Kaken from causing chaos. "Is he always like that?" Best Jeanist asked. I sighed. Ochako chimed in, "That sigh doesn't suit you." The rest of the day I played chess against myself. I lost to myself. I couldn't wait for night to fall. There was a room I suspected was the weapons room, as it had a door that seemed out of place. It looked like a small library and I could pull on the shelf. That night I sneaked out. The room was empty, and the cameras were easier to avoid in this teaching area. I used the dead angle to reach the cabinet and pulled it open. I was surprised to find not just a few weapons, but an entire basement filled with them. Upon closer inspection, I realized they weren't deadly firearms. They were designed to shoot electricity, meant to deactivate a person's bracelet and take them out of the game. But where was the key? At the end of the corridor, I found another door. I opened it and to my shock, it was like a cell. No one could get in or out without a key. It seemed to be a hiding place, but I could also use it as a sort of prison. These weapons were impressive. I decided to take 2 smaller ones that I could hide easily. I was also working on something a bit different on the outside, but both were identical. Izuku's POV. I had a plan to get rid of All Might from the game. I remembered exactly what he said to me when I asked if I could be a hero. "You can never become a hero," All Might had told me. "That's just pointless dreaming that wastes time. Even if you make it to UA, you won't go far. You need supportive people to cheer you on, people to stand by you, people to buy your merchandise. But as quirkless as you are, nothing will happen. You'll just be some hero in the corner who rarely gets picked for missions. To be a successful hero, you have to be adored. But being useless doesn't make you successful." That day, I sold the notebook he had signed. I would be lying if I said I wasn't shocked by the price some people were willing to pay for it. I was determined to make sure All Might faced the consequences of his actions and was voted out by his own students and colleagues. If that wasn't revenge, I didn't know what was. I needed exactly 4 people for my plan: All Might, Kaken, and maybe Minoma along with the girl holding him back, Itsuka Kendo, if I remembered her name correctly. Kaken went to bed at 8, while his roommate stayed up much later. That evening, I approached his door and knocked. "Get lost, useless extra. I want to sleep." Kaken shouted. "I don't have time to chat at your door. Whether you want visitors or not, I'm coming in," I warned. "Consider this a friendly reminder before I break down the door." The camera hovering next to me shifted awkwardly. It was probably controlled by Nizu, who had lost control for a moment. It was strange to hear myself cursing. I had grown up with Kaken. "I'm coming in whether you're ready or not, Kaken," I said, pulling the door open and leaving enough space for the camera to fly in before locking the door behind me. "What do you want, useless Deku?" Kaken asked, irritation clear in his voice. "I have a plan to find the culprit, but I need your help." "Not a chance. You're wasting my time." I pulled out my weapon and pointed it in his direction. "I can do much more than waste time. Scream for a hero, and you're done for. So think carefully about your next words." The camera next to me swayed again. Seriously, Nizu needed to get it together. "I knew you were the villain," Kaken accused. "Oh no, I'm not the villain. I'm someone who will get what he wants, and I won't hesitate to take you down if you don't cooperate. If that happens, we're both out of luck. That wouldn't be pleasant." Kaken frowned. "What do you want?" I found a weapons seller and created a map of its location. I'll tell 3 people where the map is, but it will be in different places. The map will be fake. Later, we'll check all 3 locations to see which one is missing. If none are missing, all 3 suspects will be. If one is missing, we'll know who stole it to access the weapons basement. And what do I have to do with that? Kaken asked. I need a witness. Why me? Oh, Kaken, don't tell me you've forgotten our past together. How could you forget the person who grew up beside you, looked up to you, and even trained with you? We were more than just friends, we were rivals. I know we had a past, but that should be a reason not to work together. I see it differently. I know you better than anyone else. And what if you get along with everyone? Getting along doesn't mean I trust everyone. I need something to hold over them, a way to ensure I can trust them. Trust is a good thing, but control is even better. Kaken, you're a control freak. Me, huh? You just realized that now? Whose fault is it? What did you say that made me despise friendship and trust? I think it was, if you want to be a hero that badly, there's a solution. Kaken, I get it, I'm working with you. Me, that's good, very good. You'd want people to see it on TV. I point at the camera. Chapter end. Izuku POV. Me, I hid the map. And I'll tell Monoma and Kendo that I hid it somewhere else. Kaken, why those extras? Out of everyone to work with, why them? They're idiots. But I get it, you want to work with idiots because you're one yourself. Me, you talk a lot for someone who's in a tight spot. I wouldn't hesitate to make you my first and last victim. I would hate to shoot you and get us both kicked out of the game. Kaken, get yourself together. It's okay. I'll be your witness, Deku. Me, Izuku, that's my name. It's either Izuku or Midoriya. If you don't want the whole world to know about our past, it's your choice. Just know, I can make sure you won't get another job in your life. Kaken, this is just a game. Why are you being such an idiot about it? Me, was it just a game when you told me to take a swan dive? The drone with the camera is losing control. Kaken, get yourself together. It's okay. I'll be your witness, Izuku. Me? Thank you, that's much better. I'm glad we could cooperate. I'll go inform the others. I couldn't believe it when I met Kendo and Monoma in the hallway with no one around. That's really my luck. The camera follows me around like a loyal pet. Monoma, look, one of the 1A brats. And the one without a quirk. Ha. Are you just in the game, the villain, or also in reality? I spit out my words sharply, probably surprising them. Monoma, if I were the villain, your class, especially you, would be the first to go. I'd show how useless you all are. I grab Monoma, pulling him toward me, holding a prop in the direction of Kendo while keeping a grip on Monoma's neck. Me, if I were the villain, I'd have taken you out on the first day. But as you can see, it's already the third day. So that means I'm not the villain, I just don't like you. Follow me to a dorm if you don't want to end up in trouble. One word, and I'll make sure you're the first to go, pointing at Kendo, then you, Monoma. We all entered a dorm. Me, lock the door tightly and then step away from it. I can see you clearly, Kendo. The camera flies behind and quickly through the door. Now that I'm standing in front of the door with both of them in front of me. Monoma, what exactly do you want that makes you not want to kill us like the others? Me, very simple. If I kill you, I'm out of the game with both of you. I have a plan for the actual villain, but I need people to cooperate. Monoma, you want us to cooperate by threatening us? That's sick. Me, well, it worked for Kaken. As you can see, I have a weapon, something you wouldn't normally get. There's a weapons basement here, and I have several maps detailing its location. I'll share the map with you. Kendo, why do you want to do that? Me, I have a plan. I don't want anyone else in my class to get hurt. I want to protect them, so to speak, and to put this plan into action, I need at least 4 people from this weapons seller to know, in case I get taken out. Monoma, we still won't work with you. Me, you won't work with me, you'll work for me. Me, that's fine. I'm not forcing you to do anything. It's your decision whether you want to work with me or not. It's also your decision whether you want to be in danger or not. Which would you prefer? Kendo, alright, we have a deal. I approach Monoma and whisper the location in his ear, then Kendo's. Monoma, this is the hiding place. Everyone will find it. It's stupid. Me, Kendo, keep your friend on a leash and away from me. I don't want any accidents. Chapter end. Nizu POV. I'm standing there with my teacup in hand. I never would have expected this. What can I say? His methods are extraordinary. Some methods I would have preferred others never to attempt. Recovery girl, no, whatever you think, just no. I know you too well. Me, what a shame. Ectoplasm, I can't imagine this is the same boy who always wears a happy smile. Me, if you're quirkless, you have to learn to act like several people at once or manipulate them. You have to do something special to avoid being despised. It's complicated when hardly anyone wants to talk to you when you're quirkless. Have you ever heard the rumor that quirklessness is contagious? I wonder if I should send him to therapy and if the hero course was right for him. I never expected to see a student so happy when most at his age have already given up. Recovery girl, he really has a big smile. Me, I'm familiar with manipulation. He uses different techniques, but I thought it was unintentional. For example, whenever he asks for a favor, he's very nice, thanking people multiple times and praising them. It makes them feel like he did them a favor. Recovery girl, don't you think he's the killer? Me, I don't think so. It would be too much trouble to not just take them out directly, and he'd risk too much doing it. But it looks like he has a plan. Present Mike, I don't think he drew the bug on it and then stood right next to me when I got the plates. He probably didn't realize it, otherwise, he would have done something about it, jumped out of the way or something. Ectoplasm, after what happened with Aoyama, I think he wants to protect his class, and that's why he took action. Izuku POV. It was the middle of the night. I was quietly sneaking around. Kakenchit, Kendo and her dog Chit. Now all that's left is All Might. Slowly, I crept into the room where he was staying. He shared the dorm with a few others, including Vlad King and Aizawa. I walked slowly to his bed. He was in his skeleton form. My toy gun and held it near his head while keeping my presence very well hidden. Me, wakey wakey. I think I startled him pretty badly. It's not a pretty sight to wake up and realize there's something pointed at your head. Me, you're awake now. All Might, what the? Me, shoo, we don't want to wake the others after all. I glanced around, Aizawa was not there. That was strange. All Might, who are you? Me, Midoriya. All Might, are you the villain? Me, do you think I would do this to my own class? Poison Aoyama with flour? My class is very important to me, and I want to do everything I can to protect them. I'm really sorry for the scare, but I need your cooperation. All Might, what exactly do you want? Me, look at you being so cooperative. I need a convincing witness since I'm quirkless. I told Kendo, Kaken, and Minoma about a hiding place for a map that supposedly shows the way to an armory. All three are suspects based on various facts. All Might, what facts? I needed to come up with something believable. Me, the explosion at the end could have come from Kaken or someone who copied his quirk. He produces nitroglycerin through his sweat that explodes when shaken. So, he could have collected the nitroglycerin and caused an explosion that didn't originate from him, just like Minoma. That was actually a pretty good excuse, but I had no idea if it would work. Me, so, I put 3 fake cards in 3 hiding places. I've told everyone that it's the right card and that it's hidden somewhere. With the help of the card, they can find the basement with weapons. If the card I glued under the table disappears, it's Kaken. If the card sewn into my mattress goes missing, it's Kendo. And if the card buried next to a small tree with red leaves disappears, it's Minoma. All Might, why are you telling me this? Me, a person with a quirk is much more believable than one without. Now I've manipulated all 4 people, or rather, lied to them to believe a lie. I still had certain plans for early in the morning, before everything took place. Then I could deal with the first 2 quickly. I knew that Todoroki had trouble sleeping and often woke up a little earlier. Most of the time, he wanted a glass of water. Sometimes he just sat down, and rarely did he get juice. Tea was out of the question. He was probably afraid of the kettle. I got up early and went to the kitchen. Not that I had slept. After my little conversation with All Might, I quickly returned to bed and waited for Todoroki to wake up. It was really sweet of him to tuck us all in properly. I shared a room with Ida and Todoroki. After about 10 minutes, I finally got out of bed and headed toward the kitchen. Me, hi Todoroki. I guess you couldn't sleep either. Todoroki, Hi, Midoriya. Yes, I really couldn't sleep. Why did you wake up? Were you awake about 15 minutes ago? Me, no, I just couldn't sleep because of what happened. He looked somewhat relieved. I had to bring up my arm, which had been burned. Me, so many things happened, and my arm really hurt last night. Todoroki, was that because of the cuts or the burn? Me, the burn. Todoroki, I'm really sorry about what my father did to you. Maybe you can show me the injury, I know a lot about burns. I showed him my burn. I also knew a lot about burns, thanks to Katsuki. Todoroki, it doesn't look good. You need to pay a lot of attention to this wound, as it can get infected quickly. Me, thank you. I really didn't expect your father to try to harm someone on camera. Somehow, I think he could be the villain, but at the same time, maybe he did it out of anger. It's foolish to reveal his identity so quickly. Todoroki, he's a villain in real life and in the game too. Me, but no one will believe us if we say it. He is the number 2. Todoroki, I know, so we have to catch him red-handed. I've already planned something. That was easier than I thought. He already suspected his father was the villain and had now included me in his plans. I listened carefully to his ideas, pointing out weaknesses without directly criticizing him. Todoroki, that could really backfire. You're absolutely right. Me, I have a plan where I would sort of sacrifice myself to throw him off his game. Todoroki, you want what? He exclaimed silently. Me, in the whole game, there are multiple heroes and only 2 villains, so I think that with the elimination of one villain, it's not bad to make the sacrifice to eliminate me too. Todoroki, what do you want to do? Me, it's forbidden as a hero to kill others, even if it's the villain. So after I deal with him, I'll be eliminated too. Todoroki, do you really think that's a good plan? Me, I would do anything to protect my class. Everyone means a lot to me, and I would go far to ensure everyone's safety. You all mean a lot to me. Except Mineta. He really looked like he was about to burst into tears. Todoroki, you are quirkless, you can't do it. I appreciate everything but it won't work. Stay calm. Nobody else will deal with Endeavor except Todoroki. Don't get your hands dirty. Todoroki, you want to shoot him? Somehow, the question sounded much more positive than it should have. Me, yes. The gun can only incapacitate you in the game. Everyone wears bracelets that allow them to exit the game if they're too injured or to let others exit for them if they're unconscious. The gun can deliver an electric shock that knocks you out. Todoroki, I'll take care of it. Me, but that's not necessary. I can handle it myself. I really don't want more of our classmates to be eliminated. Todoroki, I can see how determined you are to protect our classmates. I'm only in this game because I have no choice. I don't want you to be eliminated and then watch as the villain destroys us all. Me? Thank you, Todoroki. I will do everything for our class. I hugged him, not expecting his left side to ignite in flames. Now I had been burned for the second time. Izuku POV. It was noon, and without anyone noticing, I went to the tree with red leaves and carefully dug out the map. I left a noticeable hole and a mound of dirt behind. Then I returned to the chessboard and continued playing against myself, inevitably losing again. It seemed I had developed a talent for it. Maybe that was my secret quirk. In the evening, All Might called a meeting. He must have noticed the hole. Thankfully, he wasn't completely oblivious. All Might, I have an idea of who the villain kid is. A boy and I have devised a plan to trap the killer. Why won't he say my? I just wanted him to acknowledge my contribution. And why is he acting like he figured it all out himself? The only thing he did was memorize the facts. I discovered everything on my own. Sir Knight, sigh. We both know your plans rarely go well. All Might, that's a good point. The student I worked on the plan with found a weapons cache. Aizawa-sensei, a what? All Might, a weapons cache. Do you really doubt that this isn't real? This game was crafted by the most sinister forces. All Might, the student created 3 false maps and shared them with 3 different students, each indicating a different location. This way, if a map disappeared, we would know who took it. Sir Knight, is the plan really yours? Aizawa-sensei, so one of the cards you mentioned in the meeting has vanished. All Might, exactly. If the card that was glued under the table is missing, it's Bakugo. If the card sewn into a mattress has disappeared, it's Kendo. And if the card buried in the ground is gone, it's Monoma. We checked, and the card buried under the tree with red leaves has vanished. So it's Monoma. Monoma, that's not true, that's a complete lie. Kaken, complete nonsense. Kendo, that makes no sense. Me, yes it does. All Might, could you please end the meeting since Kaken can reopen it? This is because only the person who opens the meeting can accuse others, and Kaken is good at that. All Might, why should I do that? I named a specific date. On that day, All Might botched a mission that led to many casualties, and everything was done to cover it up. He turned pale and ended the meeting. Kaken then called a new meeting. Kaken, I was told that the wrong card is in the lamp in the kitchen. Monoma, I was told that the card is in the flower pot of the only plant here. Kendo, I was informed that the card is in the Book of the Wizard of Oz. They all looked at me. Me, it's simple. I made 6 cards. I told you, Kaken, that I put the card in the lamp, there was a card in a flower pot, and one was in the Wizard of Oz book. All 3 cards are there. None of them were stolen. I also told you, All Might, that I informed the others that the cards were hidden elsewhere, but only you and I knew their true locations. So unless Monoma was digging around like a dog. Hounddog, hey, Monoma, how dare you? I ignored them. Me, he wouldn't have been digging around in the garden. You're the only one who knew the 3 locations. If a card in the spots I mentioned to you, All Might, were to disappear, I would know you took it. Kaken. I noticed how confused Aizawa-sensei looked. He probably realized there were only 2 killers, one a hero and the other a student. He wondered why what I said made so much sense, yet it shouldn't. This was the perfect revenge. His own students and colleagues would vote him out instead of supporting him, despite his powerful quirk. Even Kaken, his successor. After they voted the number 1 hero out, they would find out that Endeavor was also out of the game, just like Todoroki. Neither of them showed up at the meeting. That's exactly how All Might was voted out. He didn't defend himself, and a few minutes later, Nizu informed us that he was innocent. Everyone looked at me. Me, how could that be? Sir Night Eye, were there others who also knew about the plan? Me, no, someone must have been listening. But that's strange since I came in the middle of the night. Aizawa-sensei, are you saying you visited him in the middle of the night? Me, yes. Kaken, did you also threaten him? Of course. Midnight-sensei, what? Me, I wanted him to cooperate. Hawks, that's still not a reason to threaten someone. Me, how do you think I managed to work with Monoma? Aizawa-sensei, sigh. Kendo, he did the same thing to us. Vlad King, Aizawa, what's going on with your class? Hound Dog, please don't do that again. I don't want anyone traumatized. Me, I never found the weapon's cache, the weapon was a fake. I only built it properly later. Mariko, what did you do with the gun then? Me, I gave it to Todoroki. He asked for it. Tsu, and you just handed it over? Me, yeah, what could he have done with it? Ida, maybe shoot his father. Midoriya, that wasn't very heroic of you. Hawks, he wouldn't do that, right? Right. Me, I don't think Todoroki would go that far. Aizawa-sensei, where are they anyway? Hawks, oh no. Do you really think he shot his own father? Yes, Tsu replied. Definitely, Uraraka added. I'm positive, Ida chimed in. Hound Dog sighed. I need at least one student who doesn't need therapy at the end of this war game. I don't need any, I said confidently. Aizawa-sensei shot back. You need as much as I need coffee. If you would sleep, you wouldn't need coffee, I retorted. Shouldn't we look for Todoroki? Ida suggested. Yes, we should. Maybe we should split up, and I'll search with my feathers too, Hawks agreed. As everyone spread out to search, most suspected that Shoto was really trying to shoot Endeavor. The lack of trust was palpable, it was clear that he had already taken a shot. Somewhere, I heard a student scream that they found someone, but I was focused on something else entirely. I was at the scene, looking down at the ground. It seemed I would have to take someone out of the game soon. I didn't want anyone else claiming my victories. On the ground lay the first victim of Aizawa-sensei. That was probably why he hadn't slept last night. Wash lay motionless, likely attacked from behind while wandering at night. I shouldn't stare for too long. The attacker must have been very quiet to catch a pro hero off guard. I could still smell the faint odor of coffee, and there was a strand of black hair nearby. Wow, Aizawa-sensei, I'm disappointed. That's obvious. I picked up the black hair and opened the wounds to make the scent of blood stronger. I found someone else, I called out. Midnight arrived. Must they all die like flies? She lamented. At least it's not a mass murder, I replied. Still a murder, Midnight countered. Let me try to look at it positively. My positivity is suffering a lot right now, I said. What is that smell of blood? She asked. My stitches have come undone, I explained. I don't know how you can treat your injuries so normally, she said. Have you ever seen me? I'm extremely reckless. Some even say I'm tired of life and that bad luck haunts me. I hurt myself accidentally a lot, so I've built up a pain tolerance over time. I ran to where Endeavor lay on his stomach and Shoto was motionless on his knees. Gasp. Another murder has happened. Aizawa-sensei asked, how many? Just one, I replied. Izuku's POV. After another sleepless night spent lying in bed, staring at the wall or reading, I felt utterly exhausted. Not that this was new for me, I could go days without crashing. I looked down at the chessboard in a daze, moving a piece every now and then. In a way, I was in a vegetative state. The moves I made were not typical for the game but rather reflected my thoughts on how to eliminate everyone. As I moved the pieces repeatedly, I realized some plans wouldn't work. To put it clearly, the pieces represented which plans would lead to victory and which would cost too much. The plan involving the gun hadn't been very good. I was no longer seen as an underestimated player in the game. That was because 3 people had been eliminated through no fault of their own. I had built a weapon and given Todoroki one, which he then used to take out another person. I hadn't really killed anyone, but I had played a role in their elimination and threatened 3 people with a gun. I moved again, immediately realizing it was a mistake that could reveal my identity. I had lost again. I rested my head on the table. I sighed. Aizawa-sensei remarked, sighing really doesn't suit you. I was alone with Aizawa-sensei in the room. Cameras were flying around us, probably 5 or so. I had to be foolish not to realize something was going on. The cameras usually followed the person they expected to take action. I have no idea how much I've lost before. I deserve to sigh, I said. Are you playing against yourself? Aizawa-sensei asked. I know, I replied. Doesn't that mean you win and lose at the same time since you win against yourself and lose against yourself? Sigh. Sigh, he echoed. He was getting too close, too close. Was he going to try to eliminate me now? I wouldn't reveal my identity, no matter what. However, I had to stop him somehow without letting on that I knew he was the killer, as that would give him more reason to kick me out of the game. It was so obvious now. He probably thought I was too naive. Maybe I could distract him. Did you know that logically, I'm incredibly old for a quirkless person? Quirkless children in this generation are exceedingly rare in Japan. The old statistic of 20% is outdated. Anyone who cares to look knows that most governments haven't bothered to count the quirkless in the census for decades. Really? Aizawa-sensei asked. And I believe many of them die like flies, either from old age or suicide. If a quirkless person isn't suicidal or old, they'll die from illness. No doctor will take a quirkless person in, meaning if they need surgery or have cancer, they suffer until the end without medication or help. Aizawa-sensei stepped a little further away, listening to me. Crimes are considered illegal if they are committed against a person with a quirk. If they are done to someone without one, it can always be counted as a quirk accident or simply an accident. If they were killed in an obvious way, it's labeled as suicide. Isn't it funny and absurd? The average age is 15, but that average includes older people without quirks. Quirkless individuals now often die by age 4 because they get abandoned. This happens frequently because parents with quirks of quirkless kids face a bad reputation, lose their jobs, and sometimes end up homeless. That's terrible, Aizawa-sensei said. And guess what? I'm used to it. You shouldn't get used to that, he replied. I already have. It's not like I'm living a long life as a quirkless person to waste time thinking about how unfair it is. Do you want to know a fact? What? Aizawa-sensei asked. I laugh at all this unfairness. What do I have left? I giggle, smiling all the time with my happy expression. Izuku POV. Grand Tornito, wanna play around? Me, sure. Some time has passed, and I was still playing against myself until he arrived. He sat down opposite me. Grand Tornito, what color do you want? Me, black. Grand Tornito, something new, most people want white. We set up all the pieces and he made the first move. I followed with my own. I quickly realized that Grand Tornito was playing rather recklessly, but not poorly. I played it safe, keeping my strategy hidden. After a few moves, I made 2 reckless plays and lost. Grand Tornito, checkmate. So, it's not safe to steal 2 cards for Aizawa-sensei and me and pretend to be heroes with them. Meow. Too bad. One more turn please. He agreed, and the same thing happened again. He played recklessly and I didn't. I lost my black queen and made a single reckless move in the new space to play. Grand Tornito, checkmate. So, it's not a good idea to get rid of Aizawa-sensei and then just steal a card for me. Me, too bad. One more turn. Grand Tornado, it's a waste of time, you're not a very good player. I need something to challenge me. Me, I play better under pressure. He smiled. Grand Tornado, whoever loses next is out. Me, out of the game? Grand Tornado, out of the game. Me, you mean the real game? The one everyone is participating in, or the chess game? Grand Tornado, the real one of course. Me, you understand that's really pressurizing now. Grand Tornado, so you play? Me, of course. How could I pass up an opportunity? We started playing as usual. His moves were reckless and mine were safe. I got rid of my queen again, but I didn't take any risks anymore. If things went wrong, I wouldn't let him win again. My mind was focused on this game. I kept my king at a safe distance from every white piece, never allowing it to come into sight of the opposing players. Piece by piece, I captured his pieces with every reckless move he made, until I reached the king and proudly knocked him over with an ordinary pawn. In his reckless way, he had played for the others, so to speak. Now my plan was set. A smile crept onto my lips. Oh, I now had my plan all set thanks to you. Grand Tornado, how is that possible? You had no chance. Me, a deal is a deal. I'll play with the white king in my hand. Grand Tornado, you've been playing with me the whole time. Not even now did you use all your skills. You were just having fun. Me, are you sticking to the deal? Grand Tornado, just one question. Me, go ahead. Grand Tornado, do you play with the participants of this game the same way you play with me and the pawns? Is your innocent expression just a facade before you show who you really are? Does he mean that I show I am the villain or my character? Me, what gives you that idea? I said with an innocent face, tilting my head like a puppy while I placed my finger on my lower lip. However, in seconds, my expression morphed into a wicked smile. I placed my hand under my chin, tilted my head, and looked deeply into his eyes. Me, of course, I'm just playing. What else are you supposed to do in a game? All the people are pieces of my plan. It's a well thought out and calculated plan to leave only those who are important in the game and to fully execute my plan so that we can win. I never said that I meant we all would win, except for the 2 villains, or that I meant me and the other villain. Me, and unfortunately, you're not part of my plan. So, are you sticking to the deal? Grand Tornado, I'm sticking to your deal. He sat down, pressed the button on his bracelet, and closed his eyes. Yes, he was out now. Me. Grand Tornado has taken himself out of the game. Hawks, what? Midnight, why would he do that? Ochako, another hero is gone, and we haven't caught a single villain. Me. He wanted to make a bet with me that the loser would leave the game. Night. You agreed? Me. I thought he was joking. Aizawa. He never jokes with his bets. Me. I'm literally the reason for 4 leaving the game. Midnight. It's not your fault. Hawks. It was just coincidences. Vlad King. It's 100% your fault. Aizawa. Now you've made him cry. Miriko. Seriously? My lower lip trembled, and my eyes filled with tears. I knew I was an amazing actor. Please clap, everybody in the comments, for my skills. It's deep black night. Sleep? What do I need that for? I am basically just fainting and hallucinating, and after I wake up, I have amnesia. If I don't sleep, I can have the same result without wasting time being unconscious. I'm wandering around in the darkness. It's too dangerous to steal a card that says I'm a hero. The person will notice, and one way or another, they will try to search for it. So I just need to capture the whole hero with the card in the second room of the weapons room. That should be enough space. The safest thing would be to capture Hagakure. With her bracelet, which everyone has to wear and can't take off, she's almost quirkless. But she's in a room full of girls. I don't want to go into the dorm. I would have the worst explanation if I were caught there. They would think I am a pervert. And I would rather be a villain. Shinso would be too dangerous for me. I know what his quirk is, but I would have done it eventually just answering one of his questions unintentionally. Too risky. I've seen quirk-canceling cuffs in the weapons room. No clue if they work with his mental one. But it doesn't matter who I capture, just that I put these cuffs on them. I slowly sneak through the area. I have chosen Kirishima. He could cause problems for me, and he is not the person I'd like to manipulate. Slowly, I open the door with a very soft squeak. I should have used the vent. It's too late anyway. Wait a minute, can't I just take them all out one by one while they're sleeping? I go to each bracelet of the boys sleeping in this dorm. I incapacitate everyone except Kirishima and Kaminari by pressing the button on the bracelet. I have no idea how exactly people fall asleep or become immobilized with the bracelet when I press the button. If it's an electric shock, it wouldn't be good to do that to Kaminari. He'll probably just wake up, and then I'll be in trouble. If everyone is gone and Kirishima is missing, all will blame Kaminari, and then they'll blame Kirishima. It's really that simple. Kirishima isn't someone I necessarily dislike. At some point, he talks about how much he trained to be a hero and his desire to succeed, but he feels his quirk is too weak. You don't tell someone who probably had to train 3 times harder because they don't have a quirk that they wouldn't understand how much effort goes into training. I put the cuffs on his hands and stand up. I lift him up. Man, he feels as heavy as a rock. On the way to the armory, I don't encounter any trouble, which is a pleasant surprise considering my usual luck. I throw him into the second room, probably waking him up in the process, and I immediately lock the door. There's a button that allows you to communicate from the soundproof room. Kirishima, dude, let me out. This isn't manly at all. Me, maybe being the villain isn't manly. I lower my voice. What if he gets discovered? I don't want to risk him knowing who I am. Kirishima, where am I? Who are you? Me, the villain. Didn't I mention that? Oh, what a shame. As you've already noticed, you can't use your quirk for a reason, of course. The cuffs on your hands. I think that's all. Oh, and don't try to press the button on your bracelet, because you'll be paralyzed. We really don't want you to be in a situation where you can't move or eat. Kirishima, you don't have to take it that far, it's just a game. Me, yes, and I'm playing my part. Where was I? Oh right, you're going on a strict pizza diet. Kirishima, a what? Why? Me, a pizza diet. Kirishima, why? Why on earth a pizza diet? Me, the gap under the door is too small to shove anything else through except a flat pizza. Yes, I'm sorry about that. I still haven't figured out how to give you water. Don't worry. What a beautiful day. Let's start this wonderful day with a powerful scream that jolts everyone awake if they've been asleep. Of course, this doesn't apply to me. No cold shower could wake someone up like that shuddering scream that sends chills down your spine. Ida, what was that? Oh yes, I almost forgot I share my dorm. Me, I don't know. Do you think something happened? Oh no, maybe it's a new victim. I just hope it's only one person because we really don't want to lose several people. Slowly, the game is getting more and more deadly. I'm really scared. What could it be now? What if our classmates got hurt? Ida, we won't let that happen. We already have too many losses. Ida opened the door with a flourish, and we see Kaminari running around in a panic. Kaminari, he's gone. He's just gone, and the others aren't moving at all. He just disappeared. I can't find him anywhere. Me, it's all good. Whatever you're looking for will reappear soon. Kaminari, you don't understand. It's not a what, it's a who. Kirishima. He just disappeared. I woke up, looked everywhere, and he wasn't there. I tried to wake up the others, but they just wouldn't move. Me, I'm sure they're just fast asleep. Kaminari, no, they're not. Just stopped moving. They're just gone. His quirk starts to kick in. Ida, Midoriya, move away. He's having a panic attack, and his quirk is getting worse. While others move away, I slowly approach and put my hand on his shoulder. Me, everything will be fine. Don't worry, we'll find him and you'll be together again soon. I won't let several of my classmates get hurt. You just have to be strong. Nothing will happen to him. Kaminari, but the villain. He's so. Me, I know, but I'm sure he'll come back with a few scratches and bumps, but alright. This is a game after all. Unless he has an intolerance to something in the pizza, and if I can't give him water through a slit, it could get worse than just bruises. Me, so calm down and breathe in and out deeply. The electricity just hurts. He should calm down quickly. The electricity around us starts to subside. I exhale with relief. Fat gum, I'm sure we'll find a solution. He came over and placed his hand on our shoulders. It's really not my fault that he doesn't understand how electricity works. He falls to the ground. A normal person would have already fainted after touching one shoulder, let alone both. Midnight, what? How did this happen? She runs over to him. Me, if you want to fall to the ground just like him, go ahead and touch him. You might as well poke a fork into a socket. The exact same thing will happen. Kaminari and I are full of electricity. Midnight pulls her hand away. Aizawa-sensei, why didn't you fall to the ground? Me, simple. I've built up an immunity to electricity. And now I've unintentionally put another person in danger. Miriko, I never imagined someone could unintentionally put 5 people in danger like that without a quirk. Turns out I was wrong. Ectoplasm is coming to collect the fallen. We literally have a collection of them now. Of course, exactly what I thought before has happened. Pikachu is out. However, I think it's literally the best thing for him. Then I don't have to hurt him unnecessarily. I save the best for last. That doesn't mean he didn't fight, though. He used some electricity on someone, fortunately not Kakin, who I want to face myself, and definitely his ego. It was another student I actually had nothing against, but it worked out in this way. Of course, I did everything I could to say that Kaminari was innocent, but hardly anyone was convinced. Did they really think it was acting? Later, we hear Nizu announce that Kaminari was indeed innocent. I give everyone a look. Aizawa-sensei, yeah, I get it. Don't say I told you so. Hawks, it probably wasn't such a good idea. Me, why did you even think he had the brain power to pull something like that off? Over half of his class knows him and probably voted for him too. Aizawa-sensei, why would you choose him? You're his teacher, you must know what he would actually do and what he wouldn't do. Izuku POV. Chaos. I thrive in creating messes and right now, I'm in the thick of it. 2 whole days have passed, and I've stirred up chaos for everyone. I've pulled pranks and spread rumors, all while making sure it looked like someone else was behind it. I don't want a simple war between heroes and villains. No, that would be too easy. The heroes should be at odds with each other. I've dyed things strange colors, put toothpaste in beds, switched sugar with salt, and drawn bugs on the walls. My plans have fueled animosity between Class 1A and 1B like never before. Fights break out constantly, and the heroes scramble to separate the students. There's shouting and brawling everywhere. I've turned our 2 classes into rivals more than they've ever been. Shut up. Not a single one of our class was harmed. What does that say about you? Monoma shouted, his frustration evident. Yeah, right. You think your class is so much better? Nobody cares if any of you are even here. You're just wasting time. Kaken retorted, his voice rising. Kaken, calm down, I urged. He threw a book at me which I caught and tossed back. He dodged, and the book hit the wall, leaving a crack that shocked some students. But Kaken was too caught up in his anger to notice. How foolish. You're fighting your own classmates. You just don't want them to see how weak you are, Monoma taunted. Are you so sad that your friends are gone? Duce was never my friend. Kaken shot back. Mina, please get him to chill, I said, feeling the tension rise. Everyone lighten up. We have enough enemies without turning on each other, Hawks interjected. Eraserhead, do something. Eraserhead simply sipped his coffee, observing the chaos unfold. Before I knew it, fists were flying. I had hoped for a milder confrontation, but I underestimated the power of my manipulation. Students from both classes were drawn into the fray, and even Ida got pulled in while trying to mediate. Midnight was about to use her mist. If you do that, you won't just put everyone to sleep, you'll ruin the game, I warned. Aizawa-sensei looked disappointed. Close call, Midnight-sensei said. At least you're not fighting, Hawks remarked. I'm quirkless and still have a will to live, I replied, though I felt the exhaustion creeping in. Not yet, Miriko added with a chuckle. I'm already exhausted. I just want to lie down and sleep forever, but I can't close my eyes, I confessed. Welcome to Nizu's game, Aizawa-sensei said with a sigh. Why was it so entertaining to watch the chaos unfold? I've had enough of this. We're leaving. Monoma declared. Wait, what do you mean? Hawks says. We're leaving this hero agency. Class 1B is done with this, Monoma replied defiantly. You want to leave the game? Hawks questioned. That's too extreme. You need to think this through, Hound Dog cautioned. We don't want to be pushed around anymore. Class 1A is mean, and everyone is an idiot. We're not leaving the game, but we're leaving the agency for an apartment in this fake city, Monoma insisted. Isn't that against the rules? Vlad King asked. Midoriya, you read the rule book. Is there any rule against living in another fake building? Monoma pressed, and all eyes turned to me. What should I say? If I said yes, they'd stay, but that would ruin my plans. If I said no, they'd leave and blame me. I had to find a way to say yes while making it sound like a lie. Yes, there is. A rule, I said hesitantly. Midnight-sensei sighed. You heard him. We can go. Monoma exclaimed. What? Wait, please. I protested. Perfect. Just perfect. After I armed myself with a few knives and gas bombs, I ran. After Class 1B, making it clear I wanted to follow them. Why was I doing this? Everyone needed to work together, right? I couldn't find them. How was that possible? A group that large couldn't just vanish. I should have moved faster. Where are you all? I called out, but silence met my words. Hello? Come on, it was just a little argument. We should work together. And fight each other. A few cameras followed me. I smiled at one before smashing it. The others scattered, and I aimed stones at them until they were all down. I didn't want anyone to see me switch to a more serious mode. I held a kitchen knife behind my back as I walked between the buildings, trying to sense any presence. I felt it early on and my worry grew. Demon cameras. Have we destroyed them all, or is there still one? Monoma muttered. No, there's still one, I replied, throwing a stone at it. No. You killed my family. Power Loader exclaimed. We can't see anything anymore. We need to send a new camera, Nizu said. I won't risk another one of my babies. Power Loader protested. What are you doing here? Why don't you stay with the 1A losers? Monoma asked. I want us to work together again. If we split up now, the villains can take us down easily. It was a bad idea to separate. We need to stick together, one for all and all for one. We can't just walk away like this. We need you all as much as you need us. Monoma, and where did you get that from? A cheesy book about collaboration and friendship? Coda, seriously, Monoma. I don't know if that was a good plan, especially since we destroyed the cameras. If we get eliminated in this game, we might not be found quickly. Me, if one of your classmates is the villain, then we're all in trouble. If not, we still have a chance to survive. Coda, I think it was a mistake for us to run away. The place we were in before was like a sinking ship. There's no better way to describe it. We're not safe, but we are safer here. You can either join us, which means we don't suspect you of being the villain, or go back to the sinking Titanic. Monoma, at least we can be sure that none of the villains posing as heroes are with us. Me, I'm going with you. I'm definitely going to regret this. Monoma, well, if that's settled. He turns around just as everyone looks at him, and in that moment, I throw a gas bomb into the center of our group. It soars high before landing right in the middle. Quick as a shadow, I dart from student to student, targeting pressure points or delivering swift strikes. Everyone is still confused, some hyperventilating due to their quirks. I've memorized where everyone is standing and can sense the aura in the gas. The smoke begins to dissipate, revealing a few more students on their feet, running around. I spot a silhouette about 5 more. I throw another gas bomb into the air. As it ascends, the fog clears more and more. Me, Coda, Midoriya. We find each other again in the dense fog. She rushes toward me just as the bomb drops. I jump back, and the bomb hits her with force, releasing new gas. I lunge at the nearest students, taking them down swiftly. Me? Is everyone okay? Is anyone still alive? Answer me, Midoriya is here. Student here. Here I am. Me, in a changed voice. Midoriya, you'll probably be next. Student, leave him alone. Me, in a changed voice. Do you want to be the second to last and not the last? How rude of you. But first, the foolish ones. Did I really make a spectacle of myself? I rush toward the student, see the silhouette, and strike. With a swift motion, I press down, causing them to stagger. The fog clears, revealing still bodies on the ground, and I stand over one of them, my hands trembling. I need to act before I am accused. This looks suspicious. I press my hand against my leg, trying to mask the evidence. I move to several others, ensuring they remain still. Why does this feel so satisfying? After I finish, I toss a few weapons around but wash them in the blood first to eliminate my fingerprints. I wonder what they'll think when I show up covered in blood and bruises. My alibi is secure. Gasping and breathing heavily, I finally arrive. It was a bad idea. I should have just faked an injury. Now there's too much blood. When I reach the door, I take a deep breath for my performance. I should have been an actor. Then I start banging on the door. Me, help. I bang a few more times until the door is ripped open. Oh my. Me, they're all dead. Hawks, what's going on here? Oh my. Midnight, Midoriya, are you all right? I drop to my knees, holding my head down. There's no way she should notice my confused expression now. Yes, I'm fine, Midnight. There's no blood on me. No, it's something completely different. I didn't come here screaming about death and destruction. I'm doing fantastic. We aren't in a psychopathic game orchestrated by Nizu. Aizawa-sensei, what the hell happened? Can you stand up? Someone bring a chair and water. Ida, I'll do that. All dead. No one's alive. There's blood everywhere. No more moving people. The whole class is gone. When I arrived, they weren't attacked yet. But then, a cloud of fog appeared. I couldn't see anything. Not even my own hand. I just tried to convince them to come back. But then there was this cloud. Screams and blood everywhere. My breathing is heavy, and I hold my chest with one hand while the other supports me. I start taking fast breaths but can't get enough air. I collapse and fall to the floor, turning onto my back and holding my hands to my head. My breaths grow faster and louder. Hawks, breathe. It's just a game. They're not dead in reality. My whole body shakes as if I'm having a seizure. My hands tangle in my hair, and I start pulling at it. Aizawa-sensei, problem child. Seriously? You call me that at a time like this? I'm covered in blood and in distress. Aizawa-sensei, Midoriya. Don't think about it. Just answer me. Me, why did yes? I choke on my own spit and start coughing. Quickly, I sit up, coughing with my head bent to the floor. I have blood in my throat and start to retch. Midnight Sensei rubs my back. I take the glass of water from Ida. It was unintentional, but at least I'm not throwing up everywhere. Hound dog, is that a knife in your leg? Me? No, it's just a scratch. Me? I didn't get caught that badly. Mirko, how is that not bad? Me? There were worse situations. I'm the one who could run. The others are still lying there, probably hurt. Aizawa-sensei, I'm sure ectoplasm will come for them. Me? All the cameras are destroyed. They didn't want to be. But I slowly stand up and look at the wound. I know I shouldn't pull it out, but I can't walk around with a knife in my leg the whole game. Hound dog, don't pull the knife out. Night Eye, I'm pretty sure Recovery Girl will take care of it. Me? Why should she take care of it? Ochako, what do you mean? Me? I'll stay in the game. I'm not going out there just for her to take care of a wound. Hawks, what? Me? As long as I haven't passed out, I'm not leaving the game. Aizawa-sensei, sighs. Midnight Sensei, but Midoriya. Me? No, there's no rule that says I can't continue the game. I'll stop only if I get knocked out. Bad idea. Why did I say that? Why is Aizawa-sensei looking at me so strangely? I should have just kept quiet, right? Is he going to be angry with me now? Me? Thanks, Ida. Could I have another glass of water? Ida, I'll bring you. Sue, I can do it. Ribbit. I close my eyes to calm down and focus on my breathing. Maybe I made a bit too much drama out of this. I didn't even know that was possible. But it's never too much. Izuku POV. I have another one of those ridiculous plans. But even if there are a lot of silly ideas, they all come together to form the main plan. The big plan consists of several steps. All the steps together create the big plan, just like a chess game. Winning isn't just about one move. And maybe my task now is to carry a washing machine around. Yes, a washing machine. It sounds silly, but there's a reason for it. So I drag the washing machine around. I didn't expect it to be so heavy. I'm dragging a washing machine around in the middle of the night. If I get caught, I won't have a single excuse. People wouldn't think I'd try to harm someone by dragging a washing machine around. But getting out of it would be a bit tricky. What could I say? Oh, I thought it would be interesting to walk around like a snail, but instead of having a shell, I use a washing machine. Or maybe I wanted my own personal washing machine so I could wash my clothes while everyone else suffers. At least there is a laundry room with several washing machines. So I don't just have to drag one washing machine here, but several. What can I say to that? My plan is to create a bit of chaos. Chaos is an understatement if you want to know exactly what I'm going to do. You might think, what are you planning that everyone will be stinking? My answer is yes, I just couldn't think of anything else I could use to make a big impact. I'm going to drag the washing machine through the hallway and hide it in a dorm where there are no students because they are all asleep, and there are more than enough of them. Aizawa-sensei, what on earth are you doing with the washing machine? Oh no. Perfect timing, Aizawa-sensei. Me, what are you doing walking around here at night? I see the door to my dorm is closed. He was in my dorm, he actually wanted to check on me. I'm lucky I wasn't there. Me, what were you doing in my dorm? Aizawa-sensei, I was the first one to ask. Me, and I have no idea what I'm doing myself. Aizawa-sensei, you're seriously dragging a washing machine around here, and you don't know why? Me? Yes, now answer me. Aizawa-sensei, not before you answer me. Me? I'm younger and deserve the answer more. Aizawa-sensei, I'm your teacher, and you're just pointlessly dragging a washing machine around. Me? I have a book as a self-defense weapon, and I'm not going to hesitate to use it. So don't talk to me or my washing machine ever again. Aizawa-sensei, you're serious? Me, I chose a rule book as my weapon, that's my full seriousness. Aizawa-sensei, they say knowledge is power, but that still doesn't explain the washing machine though. Me, I picked up the book as a weapon. Aizawa-sensei, I'm not surprised anymore. Me, so don't wonder what my washing machine and I are doing here anymore. I named it Gunter, by the way. Otherwise, I'll wonder what you're doing in my dorm too. Aizawa-sensei, sighs all right. So we both go our separate ways. I drag 5 washing machines into an unused dorm and get everything ready. This lovely lavender-scented soap consists of glycerin, which should have something around 95%, and these bottles of toilet cleaner are a concoction of many different substances but still have some nitric acid, exactly what I need. They should have something around 55%. Now, if you combine nitric acid with glycerin, you get nitroglycerin, a highly explosive substance that reacts even if you shake it too much. Bakugo is explosive, and 5 washing machines filled with nitroglycerin will create quite a mess. That's literally 5 bombs. I'm still tinkering around to create a trigger, so when I press the button, the washing machine will start rotating, and the whole building will be in chaos. I go out and lock the room after I finish everything. I creep slowly through the area and stumble. Shishido is lying on the floor, the number 13 hero. I get up and just keep walking. I didn't see that. He'll probably be found in the morning. I go to check my room and see Ida lying on the floor. He's definitely out of it too. That's unfortunate. Now I have my own dorm. Izuku POV. I can't sleep. The pain in my foot makes everything even harder. But whether in pain or not, I wouldn't have made it anyway. Adrenaline is terrible. If you need it, you just have to rely on your energy. And if you don't need it, it keeps you awake and prevents you from sleeping. But I have to stay here long enough for suspicion to arise and for someone to enter my room. Since there are only certain times when we can sleep, if we sleep longer, we are counted as unconscious. We all wake up an hour before, so there's no way someone oversleeps. Someone will have to notice that Ida and I aren't there. Suddenly, I realize something. Wouldn't everyone blame me even if I say I was asleep and didn't realize Ida was out of it? Would everyone think I could be the second villain, and that's why the hero didn't take me out? Is it enough that Kirishima is already the biggest suspect, or would they suspect me too? I got it. I get up from the bed and crawl under it. I crawl out again immediately. There's so much dust. Why did I think there was a monster under the bed when I was little? That makes no sense at all. I know the rent is high these days, and it feels impossible to afford even a tiny space, but it's so dusty under the bed. Sometimes, I think it would be better to just lie down on the highway and take a nap there. But for my plan, I'll probably have to lie down next to the bed monster. Before that, I'll grab one of Ida's shirts too. Wipe away the dust. I'm sure he won't mind. Me, right Ida? Me? Oops, I forgot you're gone. I settle under the bed, wrapped in my blanket like a sleeping bag. It's uncomfortable, but necessary for my plan. Then I wake up. I haven't fed Kirishima. Oops. I rush out. I quickly grab a frozen pizza from the refrigerator and a bottle of water. I dash to the weapon cellar and bang on the door. Me, deep voice, wake up or you're going to starve. I slide the frozen pizza under the door, pushing it far enough so it doesn't just sit there. Then I let the water flow under the door. It's not ideal, he'll probably have to lick it from the ground. I know it's not a 5-star meal. Sorry, Kirishima. I lock everything up and hurry back to my room, closing the door and lying down under my bed. I wait there until I finally hear someone. Shiro, hey, are you in there? You're really late. Aizawa-sensei is going to be angry. Wait, Ida? Are you okay? Ida. No way. He's gone. A few silent seconds pass, and I don't hear any footsteps. Shiro's breathing is frantic. Shiro, Midoriya? Midoriya? You can't just disappear like that. This can't be right. You don't deserve this. Midoriya. Thanks. Me? Yon, what's wrong? I crawl out from under the bed. Shiro, I was worried. I thought you'd been kidnapped. What on earth are you doing under the bed? Me, with so many people taken in their sleep, I figured it would be safer to sleep under the bed. Shiro, I guess it wasn't a bad idea. Ida is gone. Me, what? That's awful. Are you saying that while I was sleeping soundly here, the killer came in? Shiro, probably. Me, I'll get the others. You stay here. I rush out to announce the tragedy and find everyone gathered around a body. The person was attacked from behind. The hero. Me, there's been a murder. Sir Night Eye, that makes 2. Hey, lady, who is it? Me, Ida. He was gone when I woke up. The murderer must have snuck into our room. Aizawa-sensei looked stressed, likely wondering why he didn't target me first, since it was obvious he took Ida. After I literally caught him sneaking out of my dorm with blood on his hands. Sue, how come you're still alive? Me? I was thinking logically. There have been so many murders while people were sleeping in their rooms. That's why I sleep under the bed. The murderer must not have seen me. Aizawa-sensei gives me a confused look. It would have been so easy to betray him now, but instead I lied. I, who am supposed to be terrible at lying, managed to pull off a story where neither of us was suspected. Everything calms down, and the chaos subsides. The question is what Aizawa-sensei is thinking now. The main suspect is Kirishima. Does he believe my smile or not? Will he keep thinking I'm the good student, or will he suspect me as a villain too? If so, I have two options, lie or eliminate. I'm not in need of cooperation. I want to keep my identity a secret until the end. At least it's not forbidden to eliminate the other villain as a villain, but as a hero. I can feel Aizawa-sensei's gaze, following me step by step, trying to catch me in a quiet moment. As soon as I'm alone in my dorm, he comes in and locks the door behind us. Looks like my plan to eliminate him won't work now that a camera is watching. Darn camera, ruining the fun. Aizawa-sensei, you know it. We both know that you know.
But what?
What's the problem, Aizawa-sensei? I smile warmly at him and blink several times, looking deep into his eyes. Aizawa-sensei, don't lie. We both know I'm the villain you caught. Me, and what does that mean if we both know it? It just means you were careless and revealed your identity too soon. If I had been caught, I would have eliminated whoever caught me. Aizawa-sensei, and if I had been in your shoes, I would have said I caught the killer in the act after he didn't eliminate him and I met him leaving your dorm with your classmate instead of lying about being under the bed. The only reason you survived is that you weren't in the dorm and not under the bed. Me, but where's the fun in just betraying you? I need action. Aizawa-sensei, fun? Action? You were the one who always wanted to stay in the game to protect your classmates. Me? Looks like that was a lie. I actually want to stay in the game to see everyone fall. How each one of them is slowly taken out. That's why I haven't told you two yet. I've known for much longer. Aizawa-sensei, what? You know both identities? Me, don't you? My smile is mischievous and confident. Aizawa-sensei, are you the villain? Me? How could you think that? If it were me, everyone would be gone by now. Aizawa-sensei, and why would that be? Me, I can create a bomb, you can't. I would just build a bomb and then escape. The whole game would be over. I can take anyone in my way out of the game without breaking the rules. That's how I did it with Grand Tornado and All Might. I really don't like it when people obstruct me. He looks at me in shock before grabbing my shirt and, with his other hand, my arm with the bracelet that has the button. Aizawa-sensei, if you enjoy watching people suffer so much, I suggest you tell me who the second villain is. Me? You really shouldn't do that. It would be a real shame if you got in my way. Because I can dispose of these people. I still have the chance to kick you out of the game. Aizawa-sensei, and how would you do that if you don't mind me asking? Try something and you're out. I kick him immediately in the kneecaps. I ducked and dodged his punch, freeing my hand from his grip. Then I jumped to the side of the room and pulled out a gun, aiming it directly at him. Aizawa-sensei, you do realize this will get you kicked out of the game, right? Me, yeah, that's just my time procurement method. It gives me enough time and distance from you. Aizawa-sensei sighed. I don't want to ask why. Me, it doesn't matter. I don't have to answer. But it would be nice to explain myself before I take you out of the game. I pulled out his dagger, which he always kept hidden in his shoe. Aizawa-sensei, how did you get that? Me, stolen. You really should pay more attention to your weapons. If someone recognizes that dagger at a crime scene, they'll immediately know it was you. Aizawa-sensei, what do you mean? He didn't have time to think. I pressed the dagger against my hip. Me, why do I always end up hurt in my plans? Aizawa-sensei understood in an instant. If I ran out screaming with the dagger in my side, everyone would think he was the murderer, and he'd be accused of something he didn't do. Nizu's POV. It was all fascinating. More and more students arrived injured, and I enjoyed watching the tactics everyone employed. The atmosphere grew increasingly hostile, and new faces appeared as the game progressed. But I never expected Midoriya to do that. Recovery Girl, who had just returned from tending to numerous students, was furious when she saw Midoriya plunge the knife into his side. Recovery Girl, if I get my hands on that boy, he's done for. Present Mike, what does Sho teach his students in class? Luch Rush, I just hope it's not how to eliminate people without anyone noticing and without breaking any rules. Nizu, I find it exciting. Recovery Girl, exciting? It won't be so exciting for you for much longer. She raised her cane. Before she could act, we heard Midoriya scream, clutching his hip. Tears streamed down his face as he cried out in pain and panic, a chilling sound filled with fear and desperation. Todoroki, how is that even allowed anymore? Me, I didn't write any rules about this. I'm smart, but I never expected something like this to happen. I might as well have expected a pink elephant to fly by. Endeavor, he's a villain. If he ever tries to achieve world domination, I'll tell you straight up. I've warned you. Me, if he tried that, I would gladly join him in that endeavor. Endeavor turned pale and I smirked. Present Mike, I think he can barely feel the pain actually. Recovery Girl, I noticed he didn't scream when he stabbed himself. It was only later. Midoriya was now at the door, screaming and banging on it. Several heroes and students rushed over. Aizawa looked like he was still processing everything, trying to piece together what had happened. Present Mike, poor Sho. The door burst open, and several heroes stood there. Midoriya crumpled on the floor in a small puddle of blood. Some students rushed to him, while others screamed, and one fainted. Midnight, you are the villain. Present Mike, no excuse to help him there. Ectoplasm, he was caught with bloody hands without having them bloody. Endeavor, what the hell are you teaching these kids? All I see is murder and destruction. My son would never have picked up a gun to shoot me if he hadn't entered this school. Todoroki, Midoriya gave me the gun and told me to shoot you. Even if you weren't the villain, it was still very satisfying, and I would do it again. I rate it a 10/10. Endeavor had to be restrained from going off on the screen. Kaminari, who is Midoriya now? Recovery Girl, you burned your brain again. He's a classmate. Me, I think he means what kind of person he is. The person we know who came to this school every day. What is his true character now? Kaminari, no, I meant who is he? Recovery Girl, what did you use your quirk for now? Kaminari pointed to an empty corner. He challenged me to try to put an incredible amount of electricity into the socket. Me, there's no one there. Hawks, did you do that to your own students? Aizawa, I can explain. He raised both hands, blood dripping from them, remnants of Midoriya's blood splattered around when he stabbed himself. Me, it's kind of hilarious. He committed a crime, which makes him guilty, but at the same time, this wasn't his fault. So he's sort of innocently caught now when accused of a crime while still being guilty. A fight broke out, and Aizawa managed to subdue two students using his scarf while lifting the weapon Midoriya had dropped. He fired at some of the students. The weapons were non-lethal, of course, but it looked like a real fight scene. Aizawa created quite a mess before someone finally managed to bring him down. In the end, he was voted out, and Ectoplasm went to retrieve him. Izuku's POV. I was in my dorm. It took a long time of arguing to stay in the game and not get kicked out immediately. I also argued for just as long to bandage my wound myself. Yes, I stood there with a knife in my hip and argued. The discussion would have lasted much longer if I hadn't been stubborn and everyone hadn't been worried. If they kept arguing with me, I might have passed out in front of them. However, I was prepared for any eventuality. The dagger barely touched my hip. I wrapped plastic around it and taped a balloon filled with blood to the spot where I had stabbed myself. It was just a small puncture wound. Only now did I notice the camera next to me, which had briefly lost control and almost fallen to the floor. It was clearly being used. We know it's not nice to watch someone change their clothes, especially not live on camera. Is it really that unexpected? I already have enough injuries. I don't want to bleed out. I need to devise new strategies to survive this game without falling victim to my own plan in the end. The camera still hasn't managed to get back in order. Then just a quick and painless end. I clap my hands together, causing the camera to slip from my grasp and crash to the ground. I step on it. Power loader. No. My baby, what have you done? But. They were still so young. Why did you have to end their short lives? Recovery girl administers a sedative to quiet him down. Suddenly, I hear a knock on the door. Oh no. Hawks, hey Midoriya, are you alright? Yes, I'm fine. The door is locked. I have to finish everything quickly or I'll get caught. I start trying to get the plastic wrap off while my stomach aches. Hawks, that's good. I was worried you might have fainted and hurt yourself. No, don't worry. Hawks, good, because you left the bandages outside. I literally slap my forehead. How could I forget something so simple? This must look suspicious. I told them I could bandage myself but forgot the bandages. Hawks, that's why I'm here to bring them to you. If you don't want to leave the game, at least accept some help. No, I really don't need your help. I'm fine. The wound isn't as bad as it looks. Hawks, but you were in pain on the floor before. I thought a vital organ was hit. I was worried. I'm completely fine. To ensure he won't come in, I start pushing Ida's bed in front of the door. It won't really block the way, but it's better than nothing. I forgot one thing. Even if I don't have an injury on my side, I still have the one on my leg. Ugh, the washing machine was already hard, but the sudden pain from moving around isn't helping. For a brief moment, I see black and I stumble. I fall to the ground, feeling incredibly heavy. Hawks, are you alright? Midoriya. I'm completely okay. Hawks, don't worry. I blurt that out through gritted teeth and I'm sure he can. Hear the pain in my voice. Hawks, I really think you should get help. It sounds worse than you said. No, I'm fine. Alright. I hear him trying to open the door. Maybe it was a bad idea to try to get up while talking. Now I seem even more untrustworthy. Hawks quickly realizes the door is locked. Hawks, why did you lock the door? I'm hastily trying to get all the plastic wrap off of me. I just don't like it when people see me like this. Hawks, is it that bad? Oh no. His voice now sounds like the typical hero voice in action. Bad idea. I see Hawk's feathers slip under the crack of the door, approaching the lock. But before it can reach the lock, I grab it. It hurts, but I do it anyway. Hawks, I got it. You want to rest? I take his feather, open my window, toss out the bloody feather, and close the window again. Then I shove a blanket in the crack of the door. Chapter end. Izuku POV. Wow, fantastic. It's the 10th day without sleep and hardly any food. Today, I had a simple trick. I moved each clock forward by 1 hour and 20 minutes. The reason is simple. If people wake up too late, they will be eliminated. Every alarm clock is set to this time. You might wonder why I didn't just turn off the bracelets like last time. The answer is easy. I love variety. So, I snuck through the dorms at night to find every clock or alarm. Some had clocks on their phones, and some students set 10 alarms. I sat in some rooms trying to find the codes. For some, it was easy. Mina just had her name as a password, but Momo had a 20-character code. Luckily, I found a piece of paper with the code for her phone. So, I changed every single alarm clock. But when I went into the heroes area, it was quite difficult. Hawks was a real obstacle because his feathers were all over the floor, and I had to be careful not to step on any of them. Afterward, I returned to Kirishima to check on him. In the morning, I stepped out of my dorm. Momo, Haguruk, Kaken, Jiro, and Siro were the only ones from my class awake. Shinso and Mei were also up. Shinso probably because he doesn't sleep, and Mei because she hardly sleeps when working on her inventions. A few heroes were awake too, but I wasn't surprised that so many heroes got up on time. Now came the second stage of my plan. It was simple: leave an anonymous note in the fridge saying I poisoned some food, and anyone who ate it would slowly be in danger. Those who wanted to risk not getting an antidote and stay in the game would likely face real consequences. A great bluff, right? Of course, I hid it well so it wouldn't be found immediately before anyone could eat anything. Otherwise, it would be a waste to hide the note and have no one eat. If they don't find it, I'll show it to them myself. We were all scattered around, unaware of what the others were doing until it happened. Nizu, Yaoyorozu, Haguruk, Bakugo, Jiro, Siro, Midoriya, Hatsum, and Shinso are the only students who won't be eliminated from the game. Edshot and Ryukyu are the only heroes who are out. Why is that? Nizu, simple. They slept too long, it's 8, they overslept and are out of the game. Hawks, what do you mean out of the game? It's 6, Nizu, no, the clocks and alarms have been manipulated. It's 8:02 now. Momo, that means we all survived because we got up on time when we thought it was early. Kaken, Timon villain. He's playing so dirty. Don't show his face. He should be fighting us, not quietly and secretly taking everyone out with loopholes. Come on, fight you coward. You think you can just hide? The insults flew back and forth until someone covered my ears, drowning out the noise. Eventually, we all gathered to eat, but the atmosphere shifted when someone shouted after discovering a note. A meeting was quickly convened to discuss who would stay and who would leave. Momo spoke up, I think I should go. If there's poison, I'd rather not take the risk. Leaving voluntarily is better than getting hurt. But what if it's just a bluff? I countered. Hound Dog chimed in, I think it's safer if we don't take any chances. So we all just leave the game, and in the end, it turns out to be a bluff? I asked, frustrated. Best Jeanist added, there are enough heroes with poison tolerance. The meeting is probably just for those who don't have it, so they can leave. Hawks suddenly had an idea. Hound Dog, you can smell, right? What? Just because I have an animal quirk doesn't mean I'm a dog. Hound Dog protested. Couldn't you check for poison in the fridge and on the plates? Hawks pressed. Absolutely not. Hound Dog replied. I'm not going, I stated firmly. Expected, Hawks said, rolling his eyes. Kaken declared, I'm better than the nerd, I'm staying too. Shinso added, I think it's just a bluff. Mei shrugged, I've inhaled plenty of toxic gases from failed experiments. A little poison doesn't scare me. In the end, most of the students decided to leave, along with some heroes. Izuku's POV. This was the final step to set my plan in motion. The last step that could very well lead to my downfall. But I had to do it. The plan was to get under Kaken's skin and provoke him into a rage. This was going to be entertaining. While I was deep in thought about how to execute my plan, Hawks was trying to convince me to back out of the game. He had been trying to persuade all the students, but none of us were budging. You know how dangerous this is. Don't risk your life. Hawks warned, his voice filled with urgency. He had been repeating the same thing for an hour, and it was clear he wouldn't stop until I agreed to leave. There was a simple way to make him quiet down. I went into the kitchen, filled a glass with water, and added a generous amount of salt. Turning to Hawks, who was following me, I said, Hocus pocus, and the problem disappears. What do you mean? He started, but it was too late. I gulped down the salt water. What are you doing? Hawks exclaimed as I rushed to the trash can under the sink and emptied my stomach. Happy? I asked, feeling a mix of relief and guilt. Hawks sighed. I never want to have kids. I need a long break after this game. Snipe approached me. Hey Midoriya. You have a gun, right? I nodded. I had one that I modified and always carried with me. Can I borrow yours? Snipe asked. Sure, I replied, handing him the rigged gun, pointing it at him. Thanks, he said, taking it in both hands. Just as he was about to turn it around, the gun fired unexpectedly, hitting him. Sheet! Hawks shouted, rushing over, followed by others. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it would go off like that. I exclaimed, panic rising in my chest. Kaken glared at me. You're an idiot. If I didn't know better, I'd say you're the villain. If only he knew how close he was to the truth. I really didn't mean to. It was an accident. I insisted, tears welling in my eyes as I looked at Snipe's still form. I was relieved there were witnesses who could confirm the gun was in Snipe's hands when it fired. Now came the hard part dealing with Kaken. I waited until ectoplasm had taken Snipe away and Kakin was alone in a corner before I began to taunt him softly. Really a shame there are so few left. You haven't been able to protect your friends. What can you do now? Are you looking down on me? Kakin shouted. No, I would never do that, I replied loudly, then whispered, you can't even hold a candle to me. If I were fighting a chihuahua, it might have a better chance than you. I'm better than any chihuahua. How dare you say that? Kakin roared. A loving mother, I whispered back. Kakin was furious. I'm going to. The explosions erupted around us. You always hide behind your quirk, I taunted quietly. The explosions intensified. I knew exactly how to push his buttons. Stop it! Ox yelled. Even the heroes think you're like a dog. Look how they command you, I whispered. I don't listen to anyone. I do what I want. The only reason you're alive is to stand in my way. Kakin shouted, pushing me with an explosion. I stumbled back, crashing against the window, which shattered. Izuku's POV. It wasn't a high fall, just the second floor, but it was enough to hurt. 10 days wouldn't be enough time for my injuries to heal properly. I had cuts from the shards and other wounds that kept reopening, and I had to stitch them all back together. That was the moment everything fell apart. I lay there, feeling the weight of my injuries. I probably twisted my ankle when I fell from the second floor, but I'm still alive. Nezu's POV. Now the big question is whether he was a hero or a villain. If he was the villain, he could stay. If not, he would have to be removed from the game. Most likely, Kirishima is the villain since he vanished without a trace, leaving everyone in the room that day. However, I can't know for sure. If I let Bakugo come in and it turns out he is the villain, I will have to send him back. Others might get suspicious if I send him back, thinking he is the villain. But they would be suspicious anyway if I don't call him out because he harmed someone. So the question is, should I eliminate Bakugo or not? He's probably not the villain, he would have shown it by now. He's not the kind of person who would secretly harm anyone. I speak into the speaker. Me, Bakugo, leave the game. You harmed another hero, which is against the rules. Bakugo, he deserved it. Me, first of all, how can someone deserve to be thrown out of the window? Secondly, there are certain rules you broke, and thirdly, Midoriya, and thirdly, I'm completely fine, so he doesn't have to leave the game. Since I'm still in the game and he hasn't harmed me. Me. Yamada, I really think that's enough, little listener. You're already too hurt. Recovery girl, you need to get out of the game before I have to pull you out myself. Midoriya, but there's nothing stopping me. I'm allowed to get injured, it doesn't mean I have to leave the game. Me, I'm calling you here. Midoriya, even though you created this game, the rulebook doesn't say you can make announcements without them being tied to the rules. So there's no way you can throw me out. That's true. Ida, that's not heroic. Aizawa, he probably has more control over the game right now than you do, Nizu. Recovery girl, you'll regret it if you don't leave the game. You're more dead than alive. And I'll make sure you're completely out of here if you don't get out right away. Me, she doesn't mean that. Whispers, everyone is watching this live. You shouldn't threaten to harm anyone. Midoriya, I just need to take care of something before I leave the game. Just a few minutes. Izuku's POV. I'm going back in. Everyone looks at me in complete shock. I understand a little bit. I limp around. When I finally reach everyone, Hawks looks like he's about to have a panic attack. Miriko and Midnight seem ready to take matters into their own hands if Kakin doesn't leave the game himself. I don't think anyone expected my next move. I have to clear space for the players, just like chess pieces, to use their full potential. So, I have to remove some pieces. I pull out a prop in front of Kakin. Me, looks like we both have to leave this game now. Kakin, you're sick. Me, you threw me through a window. If you want to pull me down, I'll make sure we both fall. How does that sound? Kakin, psych. I don't give him any time to react because I'm already making my move. He's on the ground. Me, looks like we both have to leave the game now. But it doesn't matter. I can finally rest after 10 days without sleep. Maybe that was a cold-hearted act, but isn't revenge best served cold? Everyone is silent, just staring at me. Me, What I am, just not suffering anymore. I stand there while the room is awkwardly quiet, and walk with ectoplasm carrying Kakin. I hop behind him and whistle a cheerful tune. Me, I hope you all continue to have a great game. And I left my little surprise. Izuku's POV. You really thought this was coming to an end? That I read an extremely thick book for 10 days without sleep, only to let myself be thrown out because of my own foolishness and desire for revenge? It's not possible for me to be kicked out of the game because I'm the villain. Someone is only officially out of the game after they scan the card everyone received at the beginning, indicating their role. No one gets out of the game just because the button on their bracelet was pressed. Officially, someone is only out after they have scanned the card. When I leave the fake city with ectoplasm and stand in front of the scanner, I have a smile on my face. While it seems pleasant from the outside, the smile inside me is filled with mischief. I'm not foolish enough to scan my villain card, but I will stay here until my little gift is discovered. The gift is truly explosive. I take out a card. A card I claimed wasn't mine. One wonders what the difference is. Very simple. I kidnapped Kirishima a while ago. Of course, I took his card as well. And since it doesn't say on the card who it was meant for, I simply use his card to access the other eliminated players. I'm out of the game without really being out of it, and I'm just playing from the outside. Kirishima, whose card I scanned, is out of the game without having actually left. Oh, how thrilling this is. I can't wait to bring the truth to light. Ida, Midoriya. Are you okay? It's incredible that you were really thrown out of the window. Bakugo, you act like I'm the bad guy. This fool shot me. Nezu, may I ask why you did that? You could have just left the game, and Bakugo would have been thrown out because of the injury that could have prevented him from continuing. Me, my method was more satisfying. He blinks at me. Nizu, it looks like you're a different person than the one you told us all to be. It's like your mask has fallen, and you've now shown who you really are. Nice to meet you. He extends his hand to me. Me, wait 3 or 4 hours before I talk too much. I haven't slept for 10 long days. I can't think straight anymore and will probably tell the truth about everything you ask me. Nizu, that's really a long time. You remind me of someone. Aizawa, are you serious? Just because I rarely sleep doesn't mean I'd shoot someone for fun. Me, I don't look homeless. Mike-sensei, ha. Before I say anything else that I might regret later, I just lie flat on the floor. Nizu, what are you doing? I'm already asleep, just like a candle going out. The previous days, I had relied solely on adrenaline. It feels good to finally get some rest before I throw myself into the ultimate war. Nizu POV. Kaomi Woods is still alive. Me, looks like the energy is gone. Sue, staying awake for more than 10 days is already a great achievement. Ribbit. Bakugo, I can stay up much longer if I want to. Recovery girl, and I'm going to tap your head with my cane if you even think about waking Midoriya. Bakugo. Aizawa picks him up to take him to the infirmary near the camera room. But he stops, his expression thoughtful. Me, what is it? Aizawa, he is incredibly light. I mean, unbelievably light. Probably also underweight. Ochako, probably because Midoriya didn't eat much either. Midoriya begins to stir a little in his sleep. Me, don't say his name while he's sleeping. The reaction to someone's name while they sleep is stronger than to other words. Midoriya moves restlessly until he grabs Aizawa's scarf, holding it tightly while burying his head in Aizawa's chest. Aizawa just watches him. Was that a small smile? Me, Aizawa. No reaction. Me, Aizawa. I silently scream. Aizawa. Ah yes, sorry, I'll take him to the infirmary right away. Chapter end. Izuku POV. When I opened my eyes, I realized I was on a makeshift bed, surrounded by pillows and blankets. I was with all the other contestants who had been eliminated and those who never entered the game. Mion. Ochako, so you're awake? Me. Yes, how long did I sleep? Chako, 2 whole days. Oh no, I forgot to feed Kirishima. I should use the bomb now. Better than nothing, or he might actually die. My eyes are glued to the screen as I count down from 10 to 7. Ochako, you really were reckless. I reach into my trouser pocket, where the trigger is, and pull it. Everyone watching the screen jumps back, except for me. Every drone filming in the house is suddenly out of commission. The loud noise makes everyone flinch and jump back. All you can hear now is a loud beeping. Nizu sends in a few new cameras. Everyone stares at the screen as the camera makes its way to the site. When it finally arrives, all that remains of the previous house is rubble. There's Hawk, using his feathers to prop himself up, barely having any left because many are burnt. Mei waves to the camera before pressing the button on her bracelet. Her arm is in an awkward position, probably broken. There's also Shinso leaning against a stone, nearly unconscious. Everyone is visibly disturbed, except for me. I start to laugh, but not the usual kind. It's the kind that sends chills down everyone's spine. Aizawa-sensei, I didn't know anyone could laugh worse than him. Me, want to hear a surprise? Kirishima is not the villain. Nizu, who else could it be? I don't think the villain would blow up the building with himself. It must be Kirishima, he's the only one missing. Me. He was always there, locked up by the villain in the second secret weapons room and was on a strict pizza diet until now. Aizawa-sensei, how can any of the remaining ones be heroes? The villain must be among them, and he must be a disciple. Because I'm already out as a villain. Me, simple. I didn't read the whole rule book just to be eliminated. I did a lot of research and found a loophole. Even if it was incredibly difficult. Recovery girl, sigh. Nizu, go on. Me, this loophole depends on two rules in the book. The first is simple. Unlike a hero who is eliminated if they kill a teammate, the villain is not eliminated if they kill a hero. As you have seen, more people were eliminated because they killed each other while both were heroes. But what if one of the eliminated was actually the villain who killed someone, then used Kirishima's card to pose as a hero and avoid being brought back into the game immediately? The last participants were not eliminated by a player in the game, but from outside. Nizu, an interesting theory. Me, it must have happened just before everyone was killed, otherwise, Kirishima would have starved to death because the eliminated villain couldn't bring him food. The second important rule is that if you are called without breaking a rule or being eliminated by scanning your card, you can return to the game. What happens while you are in the observation room does not count as part of the game. This means you can faint, be healed, kill others, or even talk with the eliminated. That means the villain is among us. Nizu, I think I know what you're getting at. An incredible strategy. Endeavor, so one of you is the villain? What kind of slow thinker has anyone realized that I am? Me, I was the last one eliminated for killing others. After I was pushed out the window, I knew I wouldn't have much time before I passed out. So I had to act fast to avoid fainting on the field and being eliminated. I shot Bakugo in front of everyone and got kicked out of the game for it. I fainted in the observation room and was healed. The card I scanned wasn't mine, it was Kirishima's actual card. Mine is not the hero card. Since I fell in the observation room, I'm not considered defeated, just temporarily out of the game. I take my actual card, the villain card, out of my pocket. The whole room falls silent. Everyone completely shocked. Aizawa, then why did you have to kick me out? Me, you were in my way, but look, you had some kills too. The silence is very awkward. Nizu, well done. You kept your identity a secret from everyone, and no one expected it until now. I think most people will need a few more hours to digest the information. Would you like to play a game of chess with me? The timing seems right, I asked. Not right now, Recovery Girl replied. Well, I still have to clean up the game field, I said, pulling a useful tool from my bag as I left the observation room, whistling a cheerful tune. So, this isn't a story but rather a question for you to ponder. 2 students, Mei and Shinso, were eliminated from the game after the explosions. Now, only 5 heroes remain, and I haven't revealed yet who was eliminated or injured. In the story, we need to focus on the remaining heroes. You now have the choice to decide which 3 heroes should be eliminated. It's important for me to hear your arguments. Everyone can vote up to 5 times, indicating which 2 must survive and which 3 should not. A reason for your choices would be appreciated, but it's not mandatory. Just comment with a yes or no next to each name. The best genist. Mariko. Serne. Now, onto a new story. I will write about Aizawa, Midnight, and Mike experiencing their villain arc, with a troubled Izuku stumbling across them. What will happen? Will they turn good, or is the betrayal too significant? Who is the true villain in this tale? The story will be titled, Who Makes a Villain? You can decide whether to interpret any relationships between characters, as I won't explicitly depict any romantic pairings, leaving it open for readers to imagine. People say that the truth makes things easier, that it's a positive force. But those people are mistaken. The truth can feel like a dagger piercing your heart. 3 individuals with good intentions believed in the goodness of others, only to find themselves wounded. Aizawa, Midnight, and present Mike have turned to the dark side. Many students expressed their sorrow after these 3 teachers left. Some struggled to eat, while others had trouble sleeping or exhibited aggression. Izuku, however, faced different challenges. The only teachers who treated him with respect, despite his lack of a quirk, had become villains. All Might had wanted to train him, but Aizawa had always held him back from pushing too hard. Now, All Might was testing Izuku's limits more than ever. In his grief, he chose not to visit Recovery Girl, allowing the pain to serve as a constant reminder of his inadequacy. He buried his feelings deep inside, determined not to show weakness through his injuries. He committed himself entirely to his role, convincing himself he was fine. That's how he found himself on a rooftop. Izuku's POV. I put away the weapons, not wanting to confront them while armed. That wasn't who I was. Instead, I wandered through the area, surveying the debris until I reached the remaining heroes. Midnight was with Shinso, seemingly using her quirk to help him. Hawks leaned against a stone, having exhausted his remaining feathers to support himself. It will be all right. Just close your eyes, and the pain will soon fade, Midnight reassured. Curse the one who caused all this, Hawks muttered. Speaking of which, I made my entrance. What a mess. I didn't expect so much damage after just 2 days away. Both turned to me, surprised. Were you not out? Hawks stammered. Nezu appeared, explaining that I had found a loophole to re-enter the field. You found a loophole? Midnight exclaimed. Yes, I replied. And in Nezu's game? Hawks asked, incredulous. Yes. How did you manage that? The rulebook accounted for everything. You weren't allowed to sleep at the wrong times or set traps to eliminate other heroes. If you were out for more than 3 days, you were automatically voted out as dead. Midnight explained. You read the book? Hawks exclaimed. Just some pages after many were already eliminated, I clarified. He focused so much on certain parts that he overlooked others. How many survivors are there now? Just the 3 of us, although you didn't really survive that explosion, Hawks noted. Probably the killer too. It would be foolish for them to blow themselves up with everyone else, I reasoned. So, for more people left. Hopefully, our numbers will increase, Midnight said. And hopefully, they won't decrease, I added, noticing Midnight's expression shift as she realized the stakes. At least 2 of us need to survive to defeat the villain. A hero can only eliminate someone if they vote them out. Otherwise, they risk being eliminated themselves. If only 2 remain and the villain manages to kill one, we're done for. If a hero kills the villain, both would be eliminated simultaneously, resulting in no winner. Why do our chances keep getting worse? Hawks asked, frustrated. I think we should split up, Midnight suggested. That's the worst idea I've ever heard. Splitting up is what everyone does in horror movies. Hawks protested. But we're not safe together. With 2 injured heroes and a student, splitting up allows us to search the area more effectively and reduces our vulnerability, Midnight argued. I like that way of thinking. If we're going to be targeted, let's make it difficult for them, I agreed. That's not exactly what I meant, but it works too, Midnight replied. I say we should split into 2 groups, Hawk suggested. That you 2 go together and I go alone. Midnight, why is that? Hawks, I'm injured, but I have feathers to keep me upright, and I can use them to move faster. You, however, are just as injured as I am. You might not be limping as badly, but you still need support. Midoriya can help you walk. We have no weapons other than my feathers, which could hurt you. If you try to use your mist, it will help protect you both. Midnight. Wow, Hawks, thanks. That makes my part so much easier. I had a much more complicated plan in mind. Your feathers are sensitive, and Midnight's mist reacts like perfume with fire. Izuku POV. Midnight and I leave while she leans on me, breathing heavily. Me? Is everything okay? Midnight, I think I've lost too much blood. Me, maybe we can find a lighter in the rubble. Midnight, a lighter? Me, to cauterize the wounds and stop the bleeding. Midnight, that would leave scars. Me, you could also leave the game and let me go on alone. Midnight, find the lighter. I search through the debris for a while, and Midnight tries to make bandages out of scraps of her clothes. After at least half an hour of searching through the rubble and dust, I only find one lighter that doesn't work, so I give up. I probably couldn't find one even if it hadn't been blown up. So I resort to a primitive method. I hold 2 stones and try to create a spark, using scraps of my clothes and pieces of wood to start a fire. Finally, I approach her with a chair leg that I've set ablaze. Me, I found no lighter, but this should work too. Midnight, and I have to hold that over my wounds? Me, more or less, yeah. In my hand is a small pebble, and while Midnight looks startled at the flame, I throw the stone behind us unnoticed. Immediately, she turns around, alarmed. Me, I think there's someone there. Midnight, stay behind me. Whoever's there, show yourself. Silence. I throw another stone in a different direction. Midnight, my last warning. She begins to create mist that leads in the direction where the stone fell. Perfect, the wind carries the mist toward me, making it easier to conceal my presence. Me, did you know, Midnight-sensei, that your choice of materials for your suit was a risky idea considering your quirk? Midnight, I don't think this is the time. Me, I mean, the fabric you're wearing isn't just cloth, it's also plastic and other materials that make it thin yet durable. Did you know many of these materials are highly flammable? Midnight, that's a risk I had to take to use my quirk effectively. Me, do you know what happens when you mix perfume and fire? Midnight, what do you want? She tries to look at me while focusing most of her attention on the person, or rather, the stone that's threatening us. Midnight, we should really talk about this later. As you can see, we're both in danger. Me, I wouldn't say that. Midnight, the villain is literally in front of us. Oh no, he's not in front of us. He's with us. Or rather, he's with her. Me, that's not the case. We can't know whether the person is the villain or just a survivor of the game. Midnight, the player would have shown themselves. Me, maybe they're afraid the villain is here. Midnight, we are 2 people and there's only one villain. There's no chance for us. Me, you just said it yourself, the villain has to be a student. Midnight, what do you mean? Me, the loophole I used to get through the game. When I eliminated someone, it was simple. My role is to kill, so I didn't get kicked out. Midnight, you? Then why did you blame Shota if you're both the bad guys? And why did he stab you? Me, I rammed the knife into my own hip and used plastic wrap and blood to make it look real. He was on a team with you. Me, he was in my way and nobody gets in my way. Now there are only 2 people left, you and Hawks. Midnight, how is this all possible? Was it all just a facade? Me, are you slow on the uptake? Yes, it was all a facade. Yes, I am the villain. And yes, you were foolish not to stop the mist when I warned you it was highly flammable. I throw the torch into the mist. Suddenly, the flames grow enormous. I was right. The mist is highly flammable and I hear screams. At least maybe something will come of it. Midnight, Me, what sweet music. I see a small dot approaching us, and cameras are surrounding the area. Tears come to my eyes and I start to sniffle. The dot gets closer, it's Hawks. Izuku POV. I wipe the tears from my face while I watch the large fire with fearful eyes. My knees tremble, and although the fire is very close to me, I stay near it, wanting to give the impression of a traumatized child witnessing his teacher in danger. I hope Hawks didn't see that I started the fire, otherwise, it would be critical. But probably only his hero instinct kicked in when he saw the smoke and heard the screams. The cameras hover around the fire and me, moving hastily as if they want to accuse me. I'm about to give up my act and try to chase the cameras away if they won't stop. Hawks, kiddo, what's going on here? Me, Midnight Sensei, she just caught fire. Hawks, what do you mean, caught fire? Me, it started suddenly like with the bombs, and the flames grew higher and higher. I think her mist is highly flammable. I couldn't do anything. Hawks, all right. He stares at the flames. Hawks, hopefully, the villain had a plan because if I run into the middle of the fire and die, it won't help anyone. It would just be murder if Midnight dies. I realize I've gone too far. In the distance, I see a few heroes and Todoroki approaching. He freezes the entire fire. I notice a few heroes casting sympathetic or perhaps hopeful glances at Hawks. It's clear they believe we can't win anymore. The only remaining players are Hawks and me, and if he eliminates me, he loses the game as well. Kirishima is still in the mix, but he's already out of the game. Nizu, you too can continue the game. Hawks, I feel bad about this. We're playing while Midnight is suffering. Me, the sooner we finish the game, the less suffering there will be. Hawks and I continue to navigate the ruins. The challenge is that we can't enter the buildings of this fake city, as anyone who remains outside for more than 3 days can be eliminated by any hero or villain without consequences. If Hawks and I leave the hero agency, he will win the game if he manages to take me out. Hawks, I think it would be better to leave the field. The villain is here. Me, we can look at this positively. I'm almost certain the villain is nearby. The villain must be here since there was an attack on Midnight Sensei, and they can't be outside the playing field for too long, or we can eliminate them without a vote. If we leave the game, we risk being ambushed. But now we know the villain must be here. If Kirishima is the villain who was voted out a while ago and is now on the run, what I'm saying might not make sense. But for now, it means we're staying put. Hawks, that makes... What is that over there? He points to an intact armory that resembles a bunker. He limps quickly, despite his few remaining feathers, and I struggle to keep up. Finally, he reaches the door. Hawks, it doesn't work. But I didn't see a room that should have survived this explosion. I kneel on the ground, placing the key on the dirt and rubbing it clean. Me? Look, there's the key. He almost snatches it from my hand and opens the door, revealing all the weapons inside. Me, that's unsettling. Why would someone have so many weapons? Do you think the villain had access to them? I silently hope he doesn't realize I have. The same model. Hawks, I don't know. Me? Look, there's a second door. Hawks limps over to the door, and the gap is wide enough for him to slip a feather inside and open it from the inside. We hear a hissing sound as the door opens, revealing Kirishima, pale and with dark circles under his eyes. Kirishima, Hawks, are you the one who locked me up? Hawks, what? You're the villain? Why are you locked up here? Kirishima, I've been in here for days, only getting water poured through the gap, and I have to lick it off the floor or eat frozen pizza pushed through the crack. Hawks, it's a miracle you're alive. Hawks turns his back to me. Hawks, wait, if you're not the villain and you've been a prisoner this whole time, and the villain must be a student, there are only 2 left. That must mean, me, that I am the villain. In an instant, I draw my knife and press it against his hip. Hawks stares at the blade protruding from his side. Me, looks like you're not fast enough. I thought you were the fastest hero. Ha. Hawks collapses to the ground, and I press the button on his bracelet. Nizu, the game is over. The villain team, consisting of Aizawa and Midoriya, has won. The remaining survivor is Midoriya. With that, I declare the game concluded. Just a moment later, my classic smile appears, one that isn't psychopathic. After that, everything happened quickly. Hawks and Midnight were taken to a hospital where Recovery Girl did everything she could. Following my actions, most people kept their distance from me. I hummed a quiet tune while waiting on a bench outside the room where Hawks had been for 4 hours. I hadn't spoken much to anyone. I sat on the bench, swinging my feet, hoping everything would be all right. I heard 2 familiar voices, Aizawa-sensei and Mike-sensei, each sitting on one side of me. Would I still have enough time to slip away? Mike-sensei, did you really pull that off? Me, yes. Aizawa-sensei, indeed. It was quiet, with only the hurried footsteps of people passing by in the room where Hawks and Midnight were. Aizawa-sensei, you don't look happy. Me, why should I be happy? I've done so much and all of it was broadcast live. I felt like I hadn't done any better than Kakin. Aizawa-sensei, you only eliminated 2 people on live TV. Me? Yes, my worst actions were recorded. Everyone I've ever met has probably seen it. Mike-sensei, is that why you're sad? Me? No, I just regret what I did. It was barbaric. I actually blew up an entire building with people inside. I had saved myself and enjoyed the view. Somewhere along the way, I lost my sanity. Was it when I made the bomb or when I locked up Kirishima? When exactly did I go crazy? Aizawa-sensei, why did you do that if you feel so sorry? Me? Don't you sometimes do things you regret later in life? I just didn't think it through. I had planned everything so meticulously and was so caught up in the moment that I could hardly concentrate on the consequences. Hawks was always so kind. I didn't just eliminate him quietly, I did it right in front of him. Mike-sensei, but you really messed up. Aizawa-sensei, you just got too caught up in your role. I'm sure they'll both survive. A little trauma doesn't hurt anyone. Mike-sensei, are you serious? Of course, it hurts people. Aizawa-sensei, great job. I'm trying my best here, and you're making it harder for me to cheer up. It's already tough without your help. Mike-sensei, yes, I remember when Nem was upset about a wound on her face that could leave a scar, and you told her at least she wouldn't have to compete with MT Lady for who's the best-looking hero anymore. Aizawa-sensei, sigh. Don't remind me, she looked like she wanted to claw my eyes out. Me, pff. Mike-sensei, you did it. Me, what? Mike-sensei, since the game ended, you've just been sitting here looking sad as if Hawks and Midnight were dead. Finally, I can see the pretty smile again that I hadn't seen since a bunch of plates crashed on my head. Me, sorry. Mike-sensei, it's okay, we all learned something new from this game. Aizawa-sensei, where are your parents? Nizu has given all students permission to go home for 3 days after the difficult experience. Mitho, my mom is busy with work. Aizawa-sensei, and where is your dad? Me, I'd like to know that too. Aizawa-sensei, what do you mean? Me, he left me. Aizawa-sensei, Mike-sensei, you know what? It's pretty late and we also need to go home, so how about we drive you? Me, no thanks. Mike-sensei, why not? Me, I have to wait until Hawks and Midnight are all right or for any news. Aizawa-sensei, no, you don't have to. Mike-sensei, come on, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Me, well, if it's so rare to sit in a car, I shouldn't miss it. Aizawa-sensei, you will be the first to know when we hear something about Hawks and Midnight. Aizawa and Present Mike are trying to convince Izuku to get in the car so they can leave UA before Nezu decides to have a chat with him. Even though they drive away, they still feel like someone is watching them because Nezu is always keeping an eye out. Chapter end. I want to change the book cover to something else. So if you see the new cover, don't think it is another book. That is the image I chose because it reflects the character wearing a mask. With the mask, he embodies the villain, but without it, he appears to be just a smiling kid. However, if you look closely, you will notice that even the smiling kid has traces of darkness on his hands and face.